and to stand up strong. Think the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth. Instead of dividing them with lies, we're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Man, as JLP rightly often says, that's what we're doing. I am James Hake filling in for Jesse Lee today. No Jesse Lee Peterson today, at least not at this point in the show. All is well. Don't fret. Be not disappointed. Hake is filling in today as guest host, along with the American Anchor Baby, Nick, the American Anchor Baby. Jesse looking white. Indeed, I am. And you can call in. You are welcome to call in. We saw some of you guys trying to call in already. 888-77-53773. That is 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. No I in Jesse. Some of you misspell it sometimes, I see in the chat when I'm watching the what I call the snake pit, the live chat on YouTube and elsewhere. If you're listening live, you can podcast. Did you know you can podcast the Jesse Lee Peterson Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, many other places? You can also listen live to the listen line on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show live 24-hour something or other listen line. It's so cool. It is, and that number is 605-615-4131. 605-615-4131. I'm looking at the line right there on the screen if you're watching live, and look at the beautiful background. It is fall here up in the northern hemisphere. Explain that, flat earthers. Shout out to the flat earthers. They do explain it, I think, just not in a way that I understand it. But anyway, yeah, you can call in that listen line. I tried it already this morning. It kicks on about 3 till 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific time is the Jesse Lee Peterson Show here in Los Angeles. Pacific time. That's 9 to noon Eastern, 8 to 11 Central time. And when you call in, if you have a question or a comment, keep it pithy, keep it clean. This is a family show. You will get on hold, and when you get on hold, you'll hear the show with no delay. All right? So make sure that you turn off the show when you're on hold. No speakerphone, no Bluetooth, no headset, no AirPods. Unless that's the only way your phone works. You have like an Obama phone or it's an old phone that's messed up. I understand that. Sometimes you have to make exceptions, all right? Sometimes you're a trucker or whatever. I don't know. So, but be honest. Anyway, so you can call in 888-77-JESSE, JESSE, 1-888-775-3773. There are ways to call from overseas. Practically all of them that I know of, you have to pay some sort of fee. All right, but there is a way to make Wi-Fi calls. Somebody mentioned to us, and I am blanking on that website. All right, but look into it. I think Tembi might have told us one time because Tembi calls from like South Africa. But it's Friday. Can you believe it? Already. Again, like JLP says. And it is a get it off your chest type of Friday where we'll take all of your calls, whatever you like to talk about, as long as it's, clean, family friendly, not too personal, no gossip or nastiness. And not only is it Get It Off Your Chest Friday, we've been thinking about changing. I've been thinking about changing it from Black Friday to change the Black Day to Wednesday or something like that. I don't know. But I have not made any decision, nor has anybody else around here. Otherwise, it would have happened. And so because of that, and we all like it anyway, is not to be confused with the day after Thanksgiving, where everybody is in the black. All these businesses that are operating in the red all year, and then the one day they're in the black and makes it all worth it, meaning they're not, they turn an actual profit. This is for black people because we love the blacks. Black people, Americans and other black people around the world. All right, so hang tight, callers, and we will get to you. And we will, I don't know how we'll prioritize black people first. But anyway, we give extra attention to you guys today. Black Americans and black Canadians and black Africans and black Europeans and black Asians. I'm chuckling. It is Black Friday. That was then how things used to be. I remember that kind of, sort of. I mean, I've seen pictures.
I love the blacks.
You do make disparaging remarks towards black people.
He black.
I want to make sure we agree on that first.
No, we disagree.
Hold on.
I want to ask.
Well, and the things that you do, I just like I say, I want to hate you, but something won't let me.
Hey.
What?
What's wrong with the blacks?
Very nice. Beautiful. Wasn't that nice hearing Jesse Lee's voice? You'll hear Jesse Lee's voice at the bottom of the hour, too, if we play a commercial of Jesse Lee. Nice. And who knows, if we get too out of control, he may even call in. I'm not saying he will. Just joking around. All right, so Get It Off Your Chest Day. Been that way forever. / Black Friday. All right? Maze. Maze is my longtime favorite caller, and I used to say it facetiously, meaning jokingly, but now I like talking to her. People don't like talking to her. So, okay. Let's see. You can also, guys, by the way, super chat on YouTube, on Rumble, on pill.net, Jesse Lee Peterson on all those platforms, on buymeacoffee.com /JLP Talk. We are keeping up with those. The ones that are for Jesse specifically, just mention Jesse's name, and we'll make a note to read them when Jesse returns. But other than that, we'll read them. Well, we'll read them on air anyway here today, if the Lord is willing and if the creek doesn't rise. We will be reading your super chats, all right? You can also Cash App Bond JLP on Cash App. Send a Cash App tip with a little message, and we do get those as well. Nice? Nice. We're streaming live on punchy.tv. What is up, everybody? And we're streaming live on YouTube. Jesse is out today at an undisclosed location, but he's fine and all is well. All right, so we will get to your calls, but I wanted to talk briefly about this little story that I saw about Black Americans, basketball players and coaches and things. Because I saw this little news report, and I'm going to recount what I saw on Fox News, okay? So, little disclaimer, we try to keep it accurate, and I'll keep it accurate as best I can. But from my recollection of this news report that I saw on Fox News, some basketball players and a coach, and a former player included, allegedly worked with the mafia, like the Italian mafia, I don't know, either to throw games, like purposely lose, like pretend his foot hurt, for example, allegedly, okay? Unproven Innocent unless proven guilty. I like innocent unless proven guilty, not innocent until proven guilty. Because until proven guilty suggests that you will be proven guilty eventually. But I like unless proven guilty. But anyway, or to give internal team information, such as, you know, it's like if Nick were to get injured, and I'd be like, oh, Nick is injured today, guys. Or no, not tell you guys, but tell somebody else. And then I'll tell like his competitor, and his competitor makes a great show and steals viewers from Nick, the American Anchor Baby, live Monday through Friday after Hake, after the Hake Report. Also after the Fallen State on Friday. But he gave insider tips allegedly, okay, when a player was injured, including one player was LeBron James got an injury. You know that great player, LeBron James, who was not in on this, to anybody's knowledge. To me, he wouldn't do this. I can't picture LeBron. He is like the best player currently playing, right? Or he was, at least, until he got older. Maybe he still is. But I can't picture, as silly and liberal and into the black thing, being black in America, it's tough. He got a swastika or N-word painted on his gate one time. But shout out, LeBron James. Sometimes he gets injured, you know. But his teammate apparently, allegedly, somebody found out that he was injured and said, oh, he's injured. And LeBron James is a game maker or breaker, depending on how he performs or doesn't. And this other guy was a really good player who would pretend his foot hurt one time, 9 minutes into the game, and didn't come back. Allegedly, okay? So the FBI, the feds caught them. Allegedly. One rich basketball guy, I don't know if he was a coach, maybe a local Hall of Famer, if I'm getting the story right. He was playing cards with people. You know, like poker maybe, I don't know. And there was a shuffling machine. Why don't you just hand shuffle? But I don't know. It had like X-ray on it. The table could see the cards when their cards were face down. And it allowed somebody to cheat at the games, at the card games. And you wouldn't expect a rich basketball player guy or coach guy. He's already rich. Why does he need to cheat you? He doesn't. But if, like, other people stand to win something, or I don't know, that's partly why you trust them, and they exploit your trust, abuse your trust. Typical of human beings, to abuse your trust. That's why you don't trust people necessarily so easily. You don't give them stuff, because when you give them stuff, this is a side note, they can't help but take advantage of it. You're spoiling them, and then they'll just take advantage of you, and they don't appreciate it. So, what a mess. And I've talked about in Japan, they had this store that was unmanned, according to what I heard from somebody else. And some outsiders came in and abused that trust and just took stuff and didn't pay for it. Because you grab what you want, and then you pay for it, and then you leave. But some of them grabbed what they wanted and they just left, abusing the high trust society. Terrible, huh? So you wouldn't expect a rich basketball player not to be on the up and up, or rich whatever, playing cards with you. But sure enough, allegedly, according to the FBI and stuff, he wasn't on the up and up, and it was in cahoots with the mafia. Crazy. And they have this whole culture of gambling, because who cares if somebody throws a game? It's like you win or lose, big deal. Oh, but there's this gambling and betting on games nowadays, and it's bigger than ever, it seems like. It's like in the culture. Whereas we used to be Christian. I'm a Christian. I don't bet. I don't make bets. I don't gamble. We would play cards. We would play like hearts or poker, but for like Skittles. And you would win some Skittles, and the worst you did was gluttony, because you would eat the Skittles because they're good stuff. So anyway, and those were black successful players. It wasn't poverty that caused that crime, those alleged crimes. It was the evil, selfish, greedy, maybe some intimidation in there, who knows, I don't know. Hearts. Crazy. A quick side note about, you want to show these players, Nick?
Oh. Yeah, I was just perusing some of what you're talking. This is Terry, I believe Terry Rozier.
Is that the guy who was really good and he hurt his foot, allegedly?
Yeah, that's one of the people.
Now, this guy could be innocent. We don't know.
Yeah,
FYI.
but he's among the 34 people charged in this.
Really? I just thought it was 3.
WDBO.
Okay, so among those 34 are not all basketball player Americans.
Correct.
Some of them are mafia people or something?
Yeah.
Or is connected?
Gambino crime family.
Whoa!
How do we have the crime family? Hold on. How do we have the crime family doing all this?
Shout out to the Gambinos.
And they have apparently they had X-rays, special sunglasses.
Wow.
And those card shuffling machines you were talking about.
Yeah.
They had like X-rays, special sunglasses, all sorts of sophisticated cheating technology and they made like $7 million.
What website are you reading from right here?
WDBO.
Okay, WDBO.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They had this little thing on the fish, which is the people they were using for this card scam. They call them fish.
Oh, meaning marks.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
So they invite them to play like a...
You go fishing, you catch a fish, meaning a mark.
That's what they
and
call
some of
them.
those are rich people, because only a rich person could play with a fellow rich person. Basically,
yeah,
right?
And they had them basically lose
Whoa.
and extort them out of their money, because they're like, okay, you lost, now you got to pay up.
Yeah.
And it says here that they were like going after them and using what's the word? Threatening them.
Yeah.
Threatening them and all that to make sure they pay their gambling debts.
Wow. I'm laughing, but it's terrible.
Mafiosi stuff.
It just reminds me of some of these TV shows and movies that I used to watch a little bit. I just think of that stuff. But that's crazy. And some people don't care about this. I got a call from somebody yesterday on my show, on the Hake Report, mentioning this, and I wasn't familiar with any of the names that he was talking about, because I don't know sports. I know sports, sort of. I can play basketball. It's fun. Not that well, but okay. And but I don't know these professional players. They're not like household names to me.
It's just they're so... I always thought they were paid well, you know?
Right.
Paid well enough not to have to do something like...
Well, that's the faulty thinking.
Right.
Is, that's what we talk about with these... this idea of being paid well enough not to be dishonest. These politicians are getting paid like crazy. And I'm like, you got to be a public servant. You're a public servant means you're our servant. You're our slave. The people who are elected to office, it should be a sacrifice to them. Not a cushy deal where they get richer. Because they're already getting famous. They should be protected, I guess, right? But in general, we need a society that's not so dangerous that they need so much protection, and so evil and promoting anger and hatred and assassination culture and murder culture, which is hatred, anger, and lying. But, and I disagreed with this liberal socialist friend of mine. I call him a socialist, but he considers himself liberal at least 10, 15 years ago. And I'm like, they shouldn't be paid so well. And the guy disagreed, and he said they should be paid well enough so that they don't have to be dishonest. But that's faulty thinking, because everybody is already dishonest, and it doesn't matter whether you have money or don't. Because the thinking is, you don't have enough money, you're desperate, and you may bend the rules when you feel that desperation. You're worrying. Do not worry. But you worry. And, you go to dishonest means to get money because you're worried about your money. But some people aren't even necessarily worried about money, and they dishonest because they like either the thrill of it or they're greedy for more. Because even poor people and rich people are greedy. Everybody up and down is greedy for something, money or otherwise. Anyway, nice. Terrible. And by the way, just because they're paid enough doesn't paid plenty. The more you're paid, the more you have, the more you need. Because you need all this security and you blow money. You have more money, so you blow more money. Not you necessarily. Some of you keep your money, live modestly regardless. And so you save money and you're good with money. But a lot of people just squander is a good word. Squander their wealth. Wealth. No F in wealth. Paid enough not to lie and steal and cheat? I don't think so. So basketball, Americans, NBA thing. Scams, gambling scams, mafia. It's crazy. Anyway, I wanted to mention that because our culture has gotten kind of corrupted. I didn't think it was even legal to gamble, really. Anyway, we will be getting to your super chats, guys. We do see them. I want to get to some calls since it is Get It Off Your Chest Friday. Good morning to all of you over on pilled.net. We're looking at the feed and X. I refreshed the X stream so I can see your chats going forward live on X. I would like to get to Jonathan in Canada, who's on the line over here. 888-77-JESSE. I'm James Hake filling in for Jesse. Jonathan, you're on the air. Thanks for calling and holding, sir.
Hello. If Jesse's not out, last week he said that Jesus didn't want people worshiping him, and I'd just like to see what kind of input, or have him explain that a little bit more, because one of the things that mainstream Christianity says that Jesus is God is that he accepted worship, and I just want a little bit more of an explanation as to how Jesus didn't want people to worship him.
Well, he said, "I do nothing and say nothing apart from what the Father has me do and say."
Huh.
So I don't know. You'll have to ask Jesse on that. I don't really have a position on whether or not he accepted worship. But that's kind of interesting that the Jesus is Godder people, well, Jesus is Godders, if you will, the people who believe that Jesus is God rather than the Son of God. I mean, they claim, they think he's both the Son and God. But anyway, you'll notice that they have to make some logical jump to assign meaning. And some of those jumps you can understand better than others. But accepting worship is kind of vague and marginal, whereas God is quite clear, and Jesus is quite clear that he's the Son of God. Even when they accused him of calling himself God, he reiterated that he's the Son of God. So anyway, but
I've read the whole Bible, but I can't recall Jesus ever saying that I am God, my Father sent me and I am the Son of God. And,
right.
I don't recall any outright I am God claims.
Yeah. And it's an interesting phrase, I am.
Yeah.
Being.
I am who I am and all that.
Because he did say I am when he said before Abraham was, I am. And so they say, that means he's calling himself God.
Yeah, because God says I am who I am.
But you're supposed to be just as God is.
Yeah.
And the message and the prediction of Jesus was already there at present.
Yeah,
before even present, Abraham, it was already set up.
Yeah, I understand that.
So cool, huh?
Yeah. Would I be able to call next week then to get Jesse's take on it?
If the Lord is willing and the creek does not rise, I try to say it the white way. You shall be able to call in every single day, once a day on every single show, once a show.
Amazing.
So you can call Jesse Lee, you can call Hake, you can call Anchor Baby. That's 3 times. And you can even call Punchy TV. Every single show, every single day, but only once per show per day. So yeah, you're welcome to call in next week, and Jesse Lee ought to be back. All right?
Alrighty, thanks. I'll be calling back next week, next Wednesday.
Take care, man.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Very nice. I would like to talk with Charlie in California, 888-77-JESSE, 888-775-3773. Charlie, thank you for calling and holding, sir. You're live with Hake filling in for Jesse.
Hey, I called in the other day. I'm not sure if you remember me, but we had a good conversation.
Nice. You
so
sound
I was
familiar.
curious. Yeah, I do. I called in. I asked him some questions about his life, why he chose podcasting. It was,
I remember you,
really
yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm fascinated by Jesse. I get a kick out of his take. Anyway, so I've got a few things to talk about. You can cut me off and say, Charlie, it's too much. You know who New York Attorney General Letitia James is, correct? She's the one that brought the charges against Trump for fraudulent charges against his empire?
Yeah, Tish James. They call her.
Yeah.
Is she Attorney General or DA? I forget what.
Yeah, she's the Attorney General.
Whatever she is.
So
yeah,
I guess
think
they're
she
going
is.
after her now.
The top cop of New York State.
Right. Yeah. Top police. But I guess she lied on homes that she purchased, and she talked about, she got great deals on mortgages, and then she rented them out. I guess she did the same thing that she accused Trump of lying, signing her name to documents.
There's nothing that I know of has been proven. I saw on Drudge Report that there may be exculpatory evidence that suggests they're wrong about her. But it remains to be seen. I'm sure there's a lot of motivation to lie, perhaps even on both sides of this question. So I want to just wait and see on this. But
can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, but let me make one quick point about Tish James. Letitia James is a black female. This is Black Friday, a liberal to my knowledge. And she seemed to join in the anti-Trump, the hatred of Trump, the anti-Trump mob. So she's part of that mindset, seemingly. And that disqualifies her, in my mind, as a legitimate law enforcement official, elected official notwithstanding, if she's elected. I think she ran on getting Trump. So... and a lot of times black females and black Americans and others like Hispanics and others, they have like a more loosey-goosey culture where they don't mind going after people and it looking political. They don't mind because it looks political. It looks politically motivated to go after Trump, but they don't mind that. Whereas others that are a little bit more... sensible or measured or wanting to at least keep up the appearances of looking honest, they don't have the nerve to go after Trump based on those evil motives, even if they want to. So like some Jewish people or white people might not necessarily go after Trump even though they want to. So the culture is sick. It's becoming more shameless. Yeah, you can ask me a question. Real quick, what's your question?
Well, no, you kind of went on. No, I called in to ask questions. You went on for the last 2 minutes. You haven't allowed me to speak. So can I ask you a couple questions?
Hold on, Charlie. Hold on. I told you to ask a question real quick. Anyway. All right. We'll be right back. 888-77-JESSE, 888-775-3773. Back in a moment, folks. Jesse Lee Peterson Show.
Check out my book, Reparations to Responsibility. I show you how I was able to overcome anger. The spirit of anger was taken away from me. I had it. And as a result of having anger, I was insecure. I had doubt, worry, fear. I was in a fallen state and didn't know it. And it wasn't until I went and forgave my mother, who tried to turn me away from my father. I forgave my father for not being there and returned back to him. My spirit connected with his spirit, and through him, I was able to return to God. And I have perfect peace. Perfect love casts out anger. And when anger is gone, fear and doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, all of that is gone, and you are free. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or if you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website at rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND.
Black Friday, guys, and get it off your chest day. 888-77-JESSE, 888-775-3773. We are, I'm guest hosting for Jesse Lee today. But fret not, the Fallen State is happening today. After the Hake Report, I'll be out live on my show, The Hake Report, right after Jesse Lee, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 Pacific time. And then the Fallen State, and I'm excited about this, thefallenstate.tv, it's going to be premiering. Premiering means it's not live, okay? It's pre-recorded, edited very nicely for your enjoyment. And I'm excited about watching this guest and Jesse Lee interact. I've been aware of this guest for a long time. And so I'm pumped, excited to hear, what's this guy's name? Jimmy Dore. I feel like Jimmy Dore didn't want to talk to Jesse before, years ago. I may be getting it wrong, okay? So sorry, Jimmy Dore, D-O-R-E, Jimmy Dore. Yeah, and he's a sensible man. He's not some young, silly whippersnapper. I feel like he might have said, kind of written Jesse off, because sometimes people are judgmental and they just only see the viral moments or whatever, and they don't know, and so they make a judgment. They make a snap judgment. It's understandable. Even one lady wrote off Jesse Lee after the Fallen State, and then she saw Jesse interview a young man who's like sort of philosophical and wise or whatever. And she's realized, oh, there's more to Jesse Lee than just funny / outrageous or whatever you may think of him. And same thing happened with Jimmy Dore, apparently. He saw his interview style. And Jimmy Dore is a stand-up comedian, a political commentator, and a longtime podcast host. Was he affiliated with the Young Turks? I don't know. Pardon me if I'm totally butchering that. There's a few guys in that world, all right? Jimmy Dore is kind of a liberal, but I thought he claimed that he was vaccine injured, which that does happen. I don't know. It does occasionally happen. So anyway, he's host of the Jimmy Dore Show, D-O-R-E. Here's Jesse Lee talking with Jimmy Dore. A little teaser for you on the Fallen State.
Next time on the Fallen State.
So do you love God?
If a gun to my head, I would say yes.
You need a gun to your head to say that?
You already did it. You already got me cornered.
Have you ever done a show and nobody laughed?
Yes.
What does that feel like?
Feels like just another day.
Were women created to lead or to follow?
I think they should just shut up.
I do too.
This isn't the hot seat? Holy sh**.
I like that guy. Nice. So get excited. The fallen state is happening after the Hake report, which is happening after the Jesse Lee Peterson show here. And then after that, American Anchor, baby. Nice. Will you be flying today?
You know it.
Nice. Anchor, baby. Flies. A real pilot. Disclaimer. From Google. Learn to fly from Google. And I disclaim Google as well. So sweet. Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, of course, on Sunday. Don't miss it. That's how I was introduced to Jesse Lee, actually. Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. At Bond. Rebuildingtheman.com. When I first came, it was bondinfo.org. But it's rebuildingtheman.com. I started coming before they even had a YouTube channel. I heard about it from word of mouth. 2007. And then I started working for Jesse Lee as his producer in 2013. And 12 and a half years on, still here. Started from the bottom, now here. All right, so rebuildingtheman.com/church. And by the way, next week, it is going to be the first Thursday of the month. So there may or may not be, to be confirmed, but I don't know of anything else. There may be a men's forum next Thursday. This is the earliest we've ever announced it. But men's forums are first Thursday of the month, if they happen. All right, they happen on the first Thursday, and they typically do happen. 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles, rebuildingtheman.com/events. And women's forums for ladies only are third Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. Imagine Hake had a real job. I did have a real job before, kind of. Anyway, and then, again, church every Sunday. Nice? Nice. Okay, so let me get back to the calls here. Charlie, he wants to get it off his chest. I talked his ear off when he brought up Letitia James, saying that she did what she accused Trump of doing. And I don't know if she did or didn't, but I do know, or I do believe, I don't have evidence, but I do believe that she's one of those typical black females, shout out, who are liberal and just hate Trump and want any excuse to go after him. And surely she did, and she has enough Trump derangement syndrome suffering voters that she was elected into office to do that in New York. Corrupt population across America. So, Charlie, thank you for holding, sir. You wanted to ask a question, and I talked your ear off.
Yeah, I have like 3 quick questions to ask you, and I wanted to ask you one question.
Get to your most important one first.
You're not going to let me talk. You're not going to let me talk. Can I talk?
I got to go if you're not going to let me talk. I'm the host, buddy. Get to your most important one first.
Okay, so Letitia James said that the state of New York is going to launch a portal for residents to provide pictures and videos of ICE agents operating in New York City and the rest of the state. So she basically wants citizens to, pull out their cell phones and to video individuals in ICE, and they're going to send it they're going to upload it into New York State, and they're going to show those videos of those ICE agents. She basically wants to expose them. So that's one of the questions that I have for you. I've got my opinion, but I'm just curious, what is your opinion on that?
If that's true, I hadn't heard that, but I'm not surprised to hear it if it is true. I heard I think it was the former mayor of Chicago was saying something like, oh, we can...
Yeah, Lori Lightfoot.
Lori Lightfoot saying, oh, we can basically dox without using the word dox. Dox meaning figure out who these people are, where they are, and who's doing what, which ICE agent who's masked has these personal details so we can figure out who did what, because some of these ICE agents may be misbehaving when they're grabbing the illegal aliens. So sort of justifying...
Yeah, I mean, when you say misbehaving, I don't think they're like grabbing them by the hair and they're throwing bleach in their face and they're like stabbing them in the face or the neck. I basically think they're saying, listen, act normal, We're going to arrest you, but if you don't act normal, we're going to probably have to, constrain you. Can I ask you another question?
Exactly. Well, let me finish my answer. They want to intimidate ICE agents, I think, because we have a lawless group of people called Antifa and called Democrat Party of pro-lawlessness, and some of these illegals and their friends and family are all about friends and family above the law. They value friends and family and the hookup and getting away with crime rather than the law and order and honesty. We have a corrupted culture that we've allowed into the country, and it's permeated society. So they're acting like ICE are the bad guys for enforcing the law. Go ahead.
Do you know why specifically Joe Biden, actually not Joe Biden, Barack Obama and Susan Rice, they were in charge when Biden was in office? Do you know why specifically they allowed almost 20 million illegal aliens into the United States of America? Do you know why?
Did you say, before I answer that question, did you say that Obama and Susan Rice were really in charge when Biden was officially the president?
Of course.
Oh, I don't know if that's true. It may be true, but I don't know if that's true. Just side note.
Okay,
but anyway, but that aside, why they allowed 20 million people into the country?
Yeah. Why do you think that is? I know exactly why, but what is your opinion?
I think that they wanted the culture to be further changed into a Democrat voting, socialist, anti-white culture, because a lot of these people coming in are going to be like useful idiots. They're going to have children, and those children are going to be voters.
No. Here's exactly why they allowed 20 million. Okay. I'm reading the chat room right now. Somebody said 20 billion. Here's exactly why they allowed them in. I'm going to tell you exactly why. First of all, Joe Biden and his staff and all the AOC and Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders, at no point did they ever get together and start crying about the plight of people around the world that needed help and assistance. Their only goal was to advance their agenda. Here's exactly what happens. Every state, I think it's every 5 years, they do a census count. They count all the people in each state.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yep.
So they count each people in each state, and regardless if they're legal or illegal.
Yeah.
The more people in each state means more representatives in the House and Congress and the Senate. That's exactly how it works. That's why they're shoving more people into California, New York, Chicago, because they want those votes. They don't care about these people. They don't care.
For power.
These people don't come from war-torn countries that are being killed. Nobody in Tijuana, Mexico, or Mexico City. You know, there are a lot of white Christians, or black Christians in Africa that are being assassinated and killed. They just want the census count so they can get the vote because these are communist socialists, and most people don't get that. And
totally, man. It reminds me of the slavery days. You know, when in the South they had a lot of slaves, right? Americans. Or black, not necessarily Americans, I guess they didn't consider them Americans, but black slaves who were not free, but they wanted them to be counted for the total population of the state so that the state could get more representatives. And more representatives is more votes in the Congress and more power. And so they did the 3/5 compromise. Okay, we'll count 3/5 of your total slave population and count that towards your population. That wasn't calling them 3/5 human. That was calling them 3/5 of the power of the regular citizen. Can I ask you
another question real quick? Can I change the subject very quickly?
Yes.
So approximately 48 million people, they receive the government food stamps, EBT, and the SNAP benefits. And it's supposed to, I guess, run out in November. And, you know, social media is kind of goofy, but I keep on seeing all these social media posts where people are like, you know what? You take away my food stamps, I've got 4 kids, 6 kids, 12 kids, I'm going to steal from your stores. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know I saw that on the JLP Peterson show, and some of those I didn't believe to be real, but that is the mindset of some people. They're already thieves anyway, some of them, you know? So, yeah, it's kind of what we're talking about, that corrupted culture of dishonesty being just fine.
Right.
You know what? Going back to...
I got one last question to ask you.
But,
I think this is
but
a good
before
one.
your question, I'm distracted by the representation thing, and there was something that I wanted to say about it. About the 20 million people allowed into the country. Obama was letting in childhood arrivals like crazy, too. People said he was the deporter in chief. And but he also let in people like crazy. Whereas Trump may not be getting the deportation numbers yet, but he's not allowing people into the country. And he's making a big show of, you're not welcome, we're deporting you guys. And so that's going to stamp down on that thing. I forget what my point was. Go ahead.
Here's what I think. I think you as a human being, I think probably 80% of your audience, the chat room, although 20% are completely out of their minds, they belong in mental institutions. I think as human beings, if someone is being persecuted and killed because of their religious beliefs, of being like axed or shot in the head, they're being thrown off buildings, we want those people in the United States of America. We want to protect them. And there are certain groups around the world that are being, most people aren't aware of this.
Oh, you talk about accepting refugees.
Right. Most people aren't aware of this. In South Africa, there are tens of thousands of whites that are being killed by blacks. There's crosses everywhere, but you're never going to hear about that. So I don't care if they're white, brown, black, purple, green. And by the way, I never know these purple, green people. But the people coming in, and they're beautiful people from Mexico, El Salvador, but these people aren't being killed. They live in crap countries where they can't provide and they can't make a living because their government is so corrupt. So they want to come to the United States of America, and they're going to get so much free stuff. I saw a video the other day about a hotel in New York City. The food was amazing. The rooms were amazing.
But then they end up trashing them because they don't appreciate it. What a mess.
Well, I mean, I think some do, but I'm going to ask you one last question. You know how you were talking earlier about the basketball games and the players, the games are rigged?
Allegedly, yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know if it's allegedly. I actually saw a video earlier, and they showed this basketball player that was arrested. The plays that he was making, wow. I don't know if you ever saw that TV show Life Goes On with Corky. He had like Down syndrome. It was on like in the late 90s.
No.
It doesn't matter. But I think that people
What do you mean by the
gamblers,
plays, though? The plays were awesome plays, like he was a great player, or the plays as
the
dishonesty?
Horrible. It's the kind of play where you throw the basketball and you're basically throwing
he
the
threw
air.
the game. He purposely threw the game. I mean, he purposely lost and missed. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
But you think, like, I'm
but
not
I
sure
still
how
call
much
that allegedly until proven in the court of law.
Okay, but if you watch it, and maybe it's AI, but if you watch it, I watched one earlier about the guy that was arrested. But here's my point. Billions of dollars are spent each year by gamblers.
Shameful.
I was thinking, can they actually sue the basketball team or the network if they spent, $5 or $100,000 on a game and it turns out it was rigged? So you would think that they would be able to sue, I guess, someone because it's not legit.
If you can sue somebody who knew or should have known, because there's sometimes people who maybe should have known. I don't like frivolous lawsuits, of course, but they could sue the people who get convicted. Definitely, I think they could definitely sue the people who get convicted. But I'm kind of for the mindset of you kind of get what you deserve if you're betting, because you should only bet to where it doesn't hurt you too badly if you have to bet, People need to have better self-control and shouldn't be gambling. It's not Christian.
Are you a gambler?
No. Not only with my life. I only
Can
gamble with my life. Yeah.
Can I ask you one last question?
Yes, sir. Are you black?
No. Me? That's racist.
No, it's not racist. I'm asking you because it's Black Friday and we give special attention to black people. Go ahead. Last question, real quick.
No, I'm not black. But can I ask you one random odd question that you've never been asked before?
I don't know if you can. We'll find out.
The most amount of money I've ever found on the street, a parking lot, in the Target parking lot was $60. What's the most amount of money you've ever found?
20.
20?
Yeah, I think it was a 20.
All right. Listen, I got to go. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course,
Jesse's
sir.
an interesting fella. I like him. Take care.
You as well. Thank you, Charlie in California. I want to get to a few super chats before I get back to your calls and more great stories. All right. So over on Rumble, super chats. right? Did I say super? Yeah.
Super chats.
Based Nation, speaking of 100, 100 top man, 100% Based Nation. Jesse finally turned white on the outside. What the? He says with a rumble rant. Thank you, Based Nation. And over on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, Isaiah, the Uber driver, bought a very generous 34 coffees. They are super chats. They're not actual coffees, all right? There's one line open, by the way, 888-77-JESSE. Isaiah states, I love to give to bond. Indeed. Thank you, Isaiah. So do I. It's a great cause. Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Lori bought a coffee. Morning, Jesse. Morning, Jesse. Every year, my husband bow hunts, as in like bow and arrow, I presume, and brings a deer home, says Lori. It's a lot of work to process it, and I always dread it, she says. I wonder if he knows that. But I realized I'm just thinking of myself. Indeed. And it's actually a beautiful thing he loves to do for his family, says Lori. When I don't think of myself, I see how fake my problems are. Thank you, sir. Right on, Lori. That's cool. Imagine you just hate to do something, but if you pause and just don't think about yourself, you just do it and don't think about it, you stop fighting. I remember when I first got out of high school, I went to Pasadena City College, and I was on the cross-country team with a brother of mine. A brother of mine. I won't disclose his race. And we had to get up at 5 in the morning, which that was early for my taste, because I would get up at 7:14 every day when I was in high school. My friend would see my watch alarm, and he'd be like, that's late, because we got to be there at 7:45 or 8. But anyway, I got up at 5, and I remember sitting on the bed one time, and I just realized, it came to me, I don't have to fight this. Because it was some internal fight. And I just accepted my lot of having to get up at 5 in the morning. Now I get up at like 4. With no alarm, by the way. Nice. Plus or minus. All right. So 3:45. Nice. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, just stop fighting. Accept your lot. You gotta process that deer. Nice. And No Mo Thoughts bought a coffee. I don't know what's wrong with the blacks, says No Mo Thoughts, but they're right about dogs. Keep that flea bag's foot wiping tongue away from me too, says No Mo Thoughts. Nice. Eric 5 Coffees says, salvation is of the heart, quoting somebody. Jesus came to save people from religion, and they made a religion out of him. That's why it doesn't work. Attributed to RM. Thank you, Eric, with your 5 coffees. As always, a faithful supporter. And deep points. 888-77-JESSE, 888-775-3773. Back in a moment. James Hake filling in for the Jesse Lee Peterson Show.
I just wanted to say that I've been listening to you for a few years now, and when you talk about the illusion of racism and how it's just a divisive tool that the media uses, and it's just good and evil.
Yes.
And that's what we got to focus on. It really has changed my life. My perspective is totally different now. I'm more calm. I'm more peaceful. When you talk about forgiving your mother and letting go of that hate, and it just transforms you. So I just want to thank you for that, and let you know that you really are doing God's work by waking people up with this message.
Amazing, Aaron. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Sure. I can hear the angels in heaven singing right now. They're rejoicing. That's amazing. Stay with the silent prayer. Speak up, don't resent, and doubt every thought. And Aaron, you have not seen anything.
whole lot of mess going on in this old world, such as Canada messed up. That's funny. This is a funny, funny story to me. I am James Hake. I'm reading Hake News, not fake news, and Jesse Lee's radio show will continue with Hake filling in for Jesse Lee of the Hake Report, Hake. Right here. After this brief break, and we will get to more of your super chats and calls. This is the end of hour one. It's Friday, the 24th of October, AD 2025. And we'll read your super chats and get to your calls and get to some actually awesome stories. Shout out to Derek, Jesse Lee's producer. But Canada messed up bad. Trump has ended, according to AP and Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, far-left extremist AP. Anti-Americans, in my opinion, AP, Associated Press. They pretend like they're middle of the road and just the facts. No, they're liberals. Anyway, Trump ends trade talks with Canada over a television campaign opposing U.S. tariffs. And one of the ads was appropriating comments by the late, great Ronald Reagan from 1987. He was president when I was born and a kid, little kid anyway. Ronald Reagan against tariffs. He was like for the free and fair trade or something or other. But the Ronald Reagan something or other didn't see it as, they felt it was a bit deceptively edited. And on top of that, it was offensive for the Canadians to use a pro-America American president in Ronald Reagan. Pretty pro-American, right? Overall, maybe? Maybe not, maybe. I think so. Our second greatest president, Ronald Reagan, second only to our greatest president, Trump, at least in these modern times, right? Or postmodern times, whatever you want to call them, I don't know. And so Trump is like, oh, you messed up. We're ending these trade talks. Based. I'm so excited about that. And also, Tropical Storm Melissa, watch out, Jamaicans, Haitians, Dominican Republic people, Hispaniola, whatever that is. I think it's an island out there in the Caribbean. Tropical Storm Melissa, it's kind of big, and it's brushing up against these areas, these islands, and it could become a hurricane. And even if it's just a tropical storm, it's crazy, meaning damaging and dangerous. So watch out. And I'm really excited because the DHS, Department of So-Called Homeland Security, is making itself useful for once in its life, if an agency has a life, if a department has a life, and giving money to the Navy for construction of a bunch of different facilities to detain illegal aliens. Illegal aliens, right? And 10,000 each in multiple states, like several, like 6, 7, maybe plus or minus. And they're trying to build it fast in order for Trump to really ramp up arrests and detentions and deportations, because they're squirrely and it's difficult to manage. So ride on Trump and DHS, even if it is some woman running the show over there. So the government shutdown will continue into next week as the Senate adjourns for the weekend without reaching a funding deal. That's fine. Thousands of federal so-called workers still waiting on their paychecks. The delays forcing many to make difficult choices about rent, groceries, and other so-called essentials, so they say. Commie nonsense. Trump said Canada on Thursday. He's terminating trade talks with Canada, adding new tension to the frayed relationship between the North American neighbors. In response to the TV ad about by the government of Canada's Ontario province, not to be confused with Ontario, California, which is a city over here that has an airport. They criticized the tariffs. Trump called it egregious behavior, and they've had a centuries-long friendship with Canada, but they're fake friends. Because they have bruised feelings. People don't, Canada's going to be the 51st state. They're mad about that. And the tariffs, Canadians boycotting American stuff. Weak. I'm James Hake. How about you, JLP?
got to stand up strong. Ain't the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am James Hake filling in for Jesse Lee Peterson today. We have Nick the American Anchor Baby here and Hake, and we are running the show without Jesse Lee. All right, so while the cat's away, the mice will play. And you can call in 888-77-JESSE, 1-888-775-3773, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific time. JesseLeePeterson.com/show for the ways to find the different video live streaming platforms, as well as the different ways to super chat on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP via Cash App, and we do try to keep up with all of your super chats. Steven, I do see your sticker there with the ha 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 laughing woman emoji sticker thing on YouTube. Nice. Steven. And I don't want to dox his last name, even though it is right there publicly, whatever. But Steven, thank you, sir. And the D Live crew, Groovy Monkey, Misty, Wolf 336, El Alacran, CHRP, Alter 5K, and 555-555-565. Thank you guys over on the D Live crew. And what's up, pilled people? So we'll get to all of your super chats. You can call in, you can super chat, or you can hang out there in the snake pit. And it is Friday, as you know, and every Friday is not only Get It Off Your Chest Friday, in which you can call in. Anybody can call in, unless you're banned, of course, obviously, duh. But long as you can figure out a way to, I know you can find a way to call in 888-77-JESSE. But it's also a very special day for our black friends and fiends. Shout out. Because, you know, they're a special people. And they like being special, but they also hate it. Because when you're in the darkness, you're conflicted. You're up and down, in and you're out, hot and then cold. You change clothes. No, you change your mind like a girl changes clothes. It's ridiculous. And you talk out of both sides of your mouth, meaning you contradict yourself. You don't know what you want. Shout out. So this very special day, guest hosted by Hake, is Black Friday. That was then beautiful. I mean, it was held there too, but it was better.
What's wrong with the black?
It blows my mind how black people go in everybody else's business and bully them.
This is black excellence.
Come on, your ass, Jesse.
What the?
Come on, Coon.
Hey,
Tony,
Tony, my mirror fro about to come off.
I think you've pretty much pissed off everybody.
Whoa, don't say that word, kids. Shout out to was that your doing, Anchor Baby? That was somebody else?
No, I got stolen valor from this the other day. I was trying to correct it.
Nice.
And I'm just sitting here like typing. Nobody cares.
Yeah, so it's not
Just
Nick's
a little credit.
editing. He does do a lot of those intros, but you never know who did the intro. So get it off your chest. And speaking of Black Americans, Black Canadians, Black foreigners coming into America and Canada, I gotta get to Jermaine in Canada before we get to more great stories. Jermaine, thank you for calling, sir, and thank you for holding. You're live with Hake, guest hosting for Jesse Lee.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
I'm just pulling over.
You're pulling over, it sounds like. Jermaine in Canada.
Hey, James.
Yes, sir.
007, the sharpshooter. What's up?
One shot, one kill. Metaphorically
Nice,
speaking, of course.
Nice. Shout out to Claude Bops in the chat and Mr. Pink.
Yeah, nice. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sir.
I'm calling about, you remember that clip JLP played yesterday about the pastor? When
yeah, he wanted $2,000 and the woman only had $1,200, and then she turned her pockets inside out, metaphorically speaking, and was like, "I don't have. That's all I have." And this guy's like, "I asked for $200, and look, it's
plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated."
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Like a mob boss. He must have been just joking, right? I don't know, but maybe he wasn't. It doesn't sound like he was joking. Anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't joking. He's like, you don't listen. Colored in the church like that. That's crazy. But, this is what I realized, because I was reflecting on this. I'm like, this is why the silent prayer is so important, right? Because this guy, he was only thinking about himself. And because he was thinking about himself, he went unconscious. And it wasn't him, right? Because he only wanted the things to benefit him. And now he's being controlled by evil.
Well, and some people are thinking of themselves, but they think that they're thinking of the Lord. He's raising money for the Lord. And they get up on their high horse, and even though it is really for themselves, they're just on a trip, on an ego trip. So it could be that even. Where you're right, he is just thinking about himself, but he may think that he's thinking of the Lord.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Because I realized by doing this silent prayer, it's like your mind is just taking you places. You just have to just realize that it's not even you. It's just the evil trying to control you to get you to be busybody and think about yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I figured. Yeah.
And it's happening to pastors. That was, Jesse Lee covered that on Bible Thumper Thursday, yesterday. And the prior week, I think, maybe a week before that, there was this other guy who was a black pastor, a relatively young guy, probably in his 50s, maybe older, because you can sometimes underestimate how old black people are because they look young. But he ended up trying to do himself in. He might have set his house on fire or tried to stab his wife or something crazy. And he just lost it. And then he rejected organized religion or whatever, or Christianity after that, because he had all this either anxiety or suicidal thoughts or something just drove him nuts. And he did all this stuff for all these people and they didn't appreciate it, which is human nature. That's not just religion. But yeah, people who call themselves Christian and even become pastors are still lost, separated from God, separated from their own common sense that God gave them. If they would just be quiet.
I remember that guy was saying that he was a pastor, and even though he was preaching, he didn't believe what he was saying.
Yep.
And he was looking for female advice, and he didn't get to talk to her, so he shut up his place and set it on fire. And then at the end of the day, he found comfort in farming and
that's right,
playing the flute or something like that.
Yeah, he played
but
some
he's still
type
miserable.
of jazz instrument or something. I think it might have been the saxophone.
Yeah, you're right. It's the saxophone.
And he was like was it gardening or farming? It was something. I think you might have been right. Yeah. And those are fine things, you know. King David, before he was king, he played the harp that calmed the nerves of King Saul. But that's just a temporary and worldly comfort and enjoyment that's not the real common sense and peace that's going to keep you as God keeps you, you know? Nice.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, man. Interesting stuff.
No worries. Before I go, shout out to Anchor Baby, man. That background is fire.
Yeah, this background with the... Now, it's sort of celebrating Halloween, but it's in just a fun way. We're not worshiping any false idols or bowing to demons or ghouls, okay? You Christians who are nervous about Halloween, you are appreciated. But it has a jack-o'-lantern there, which is cute. It has the American flag and a log cabin, but it's a nice big structure, and it has this. Is that the moon? That's the sun. It has the sun overhead, and then the moon comes out, and it gets dark, and there's some gently swaying. Look, ball Earth. No, just kidding. The gently swaying branch of the tree and the nice light lit trees. Right on. He's an artist.
Yeah, don't be like the Muslim here in Canada that's like, oh, you're putting up Halloween decoration. I don't like it. That's
Did
crazy.
you see that, James?
No.
What he's talking about? There's this Palestinian refugee from Gaza that is in Canada, and she was going viral on TikTok because she was going up to the neighbor house, showing the Halloween decorations and saying that this is terrible. What's wrong with white people? What's wrong with how is this fun?
Right.
There's like a severed foot.
Oh,
it was like
a scary, gross Halloween thing that they do.
She's like, F the West, F you Westerners and white people.
And so she's a refugee, though.
Yeah.
refugee. An entitled refugee judging us for our degenerate culture. What a mess. That's funny. Halloween versus Palestinians. Refugees.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's a good. That's a good title.
So we'll call this an autumn background. Harvest, they call it. Anyway, thank you, man.
Nice.
Fun call.
All right, James.
All right.
Bye. Cheers.
Take care. Very nice. Quickly, let me get to Scott, a first-time caller out of Missouri. Is it Missouri or Missouri? Scott.
Oh, my God. I answer to misery mostly.
Scott out of Missouri.
Yes.
The state of misery.
Right in the middle of the armpit of the country.
Really? Is that how you feel about it?
No, that's New Jersey. Sorry.
That's funny.
And allegedly, the Palestinian woman's attorney piped in and said, hey, the reason she said what's wrong with white people is that's what she was fleeing, was that kind of horror.
Oh, get it? Because those white Jewish people, those white Jewish IDF Israelis were genociding.
So her PTSD claim is incoming to the city.
So is she being sued or something? Why did she need an attorney?
Oh, no, allegedly.
Oh, okay.
You know, maybe Anderson Cooper whispered it to Don Lemon. You know.
That's funny.
And then he whispered to his husband, and then it got out.
Let people have their freedom of speech. You know?
Yes.
Whether they're... Yes. I mean, don't be afraid to call a lie, but still.
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate your format. I like it. It's current events. You're having discussions with people. Just back and forth.
Nice.
And you're just talking to that, maybe, I don't know how many callers ago, but you're talking about the basketball players.
Yeah.
The liability for people that lost money. No, they don't have any standing. I mean, it's entertainment. It's kind of an as-is.
Right. I bet you they will be
if you want.
I bet you there's going to be lawsuits because if there's any opportunity for one, there's going to be one. Pretty much.
I mean, you know how much money I lost on WWE wrestling? and it turned out to be all fake. I want my money back.
You made bets on pro wrestlers?
With interest. It'll make reparation payments look minuscule.
Were you a child? Were you a teenager or adolescent at the time, or were you a grown man?
I was a grown man, and I was in the military, and I walked into Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I saw Hulk Hogan and the Iron Sheik playing poker with each other.
Nice.
Backstage, and that's when my facade was shattered.
Wow. So you saw them playing poker, and that made you think that it's... Oh,
and
because those were enemies of each other.
In uniform.
Oh, so Hulk Hogan and...
The Hulk didn't know...
I didn't keep up with the drama.
The Sheik was reading his cards by his forehead, the reflection from his forehead. The Sheik was cheating.
He could see Hulk Hogan's cards in Hulk Hogan's forehead reflection?
Yeah, the Sheik was a bad guy in real life, it turns out. Usually they're just bad guys, but they're really nice people in real life.
Yeah. Right. He was a bad guy. So those guys were mortal enemies on stage, but in real life they were friends, one cheating off the other?
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what made you realize it took you to the military to realize it was fake?
I left before they got to the back rubs, let's put it that way.
Okay, TMI.
They were buddies.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and rest in peace to both those guys, right? Did the Iron Sheik pass on some time back, many years ago?
Possibly. He was an incredible athlete.
Yeah. I don't think of him as, I don't know if he's alive or not, but the great Hulk Hogan, a real American, he died pretty recently, and he loved Trump and America and the kids, and he wanted to be a good example, and I appreciate him for that.
Yeah, and I was also, if you had a minute, I was going to chime in on the government stops, and the people that put down money, threatening to rob to get what.
Oh, the EBT, the food stamps.
Yes. I would say the able-bodied people. I think the able-bodied people will probably find work because there are jobs out there, and they're probably already doing that anyway, like you pointed out earlier.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in a way, if they're able-bodied, they're already stealing. So.
Yeah, true.
It's unearned.
Yeah, people take advantage of opportunities to get ill-gotten gain, and it's not right. It's not good.
And they get spoiled, and it goes down from there. Yeah.
It's funny how a person can really, really contribute, quote-unquote, to society by, being of value, making yourself valuable, doing good work, being honest, and things like that. Or you can really be a drag on society by stealing, which has so many ramifications for so many different people, more than and yourself, and getting into car accidents or killing, and all the work and paperwork and investigation and all the money and energy that other people spend to solve and clean up your mess. It's so crazy. It's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, my daughter's car was just stolen.
Wow.
Yeah. She paid $17,000 for it. She had the debt paid down to $7,000.
Wow.
It was a Kia Soul. I call it the Kia Stole.
Mm-hmm.
Kids come in and bust the window out, steal it, they total it.
Wow.
So the insurance company settles her claim. She had full coverage insurance. She gets $10,700 for that. The bank gets the $7,000, so she's left with $3,700.
Oh my gosh!
And so now she has to buy an 11-year older vehicle, from someone stealing her property.
Yep.
And there's no accountability. These people are already out of jail. They'll never pay the price. 2 of them were juveniles. One was a 19-year-older, which is probably just like a juvenile, the way people are treated for serious crimes. They were involved in a high-speed chase. I don't know how high of a speed you can get in a Kia Stole. But
maybe depending on if it's downhill, you can probably get to 110, 115.
Yes. Yes.
Because they have a governor
smart with
on
her
them.
money. She's smart with her money, and she was able to buy another car. It was 10 years older, but it was a better vehicle, better brand.
Yeah.
Similar mileage. and much better for her needs.
Well, then all worked out, huh?
She could have been angry about the system and, angry about everything, but, she's actually in a better position and is paid for.
Yeah.
She has no debt now.
Awesome.
So, yeah, sometimes when things you feel like it's coming against you, it's really not. And
That's true.
Jesse's right.
Yep.
He's exactly right. Don't make mountains out of molehills.
Very true.
Let things pass, and don't give people that satisfaction of a reaction.
That's the assignment, man. I am remiss in my failure of my duty to mention, since we have no biblical question this week, the assignment, let it pass through. Whatever you think, whatever you feel, let it pass through you. And you feel it all the way. You know that it's, or you don't even necessarily know, but you just don't do anything about it. Just let it pass through you. Right on, man.
I work in the front lines of retail, and that works miracles when you do not react to someone who is angry, having a tantrum, and you just let them expend all of that rage that they're having for whatever reason. If they had burnt toast for breakfast, it could set some people off.
Totally.
But if you just respond, but not respond and respond, logically,
professionally,
smartly, professionally, don't paint them into a corner.
Yeah.
It's very easy to, we really want to checkmate people immediately.
I know.
And that's the same thing as judging.
Yep.
Checkmate.
It totally is. It's an ego battle, trying to win.
Yeah. And I have employees, they'll say, I need off on Friday, and I really don't have people standing around saying, I'll work Friday for them. And I want to say, no, I need you, but I just know the next move is, I'm sick. Checkmate.
Yep.
So I always tell them, you know what, take your day, recuperate, enjoy it, and we'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
Man, the day works out so much better. If you force someone against their will to do something, man, they're going to hate you for
That's
life.
true. Yep, indeed.
But, yeah, man, try that. Try that anger. People say, I got talking to a Christian man, and he was really taking exception. He goes, wow, righteous anger. What about righteous anger?
Yeah.
I said, you wouldn't know righteous if it bit you.
That's true.
None of us do as men.
It's
most of our... Jesus was. I was like, well, you're not Jesus.
Yeah. And you're not, you imagine that you're feeling what Jesus did, because think about the times that you're mad about something evil happening. Even if it's not happening to you, it's something evil happened in the world that's wrong, right?
Yes.
You're right that it's wrong, but you're wrong to be mad about it. And you're not righteously angry, you're self-righteously angry, because it has nothing to do with you. You're not conscious anymore.
And just like Jesse says, it's amazing, because when you're not ready to respond, like when you're ready to cut that person off when they're talking, or the famous thing now is people go, yeah. And when somebody else is talking, and I tell people, I was like, oh, they're just telling you to hurry up.
Right.
But you take the pressure off yourself. You don't have to match their intensity. You don't have to show you're emotional. You don't have to. Everybody says, oh, I like an emotional leader. I was like, oh, well, Jesse would say you probably like following women.
People want to pull you in, and sometimes they're successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, so when I see emotion, that exercise so far, I'll know more on Sunday. But so far, it's really given me just a lot of peace. Like, I know I'm dealing with someone that's dangerous, and I don't have to judge it. I just am aware of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even thinking about what I'm going to say next. It just kind of happens for me.
That's cool, man.
And I had an angry customer that wanted to return some materials from 16 months ago, and was very angry because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
Right.
And by the end of it, we were friends, and he was encouraged, and he's like, well, I think I'm going to sell this to a property manager with rental property.
Nice.
And, you know, he solved his own, I didn't even solve his problem for him. I just gave him some suggestions. I said, do what you want.
That's so cool, man.
And, you know, it really takes the ego out of it. And that's one thing as men, as people, you know, it doesn't matter if you're man or woman, you have ego. And, you know, it's sneaky. It's really sneaky. Sometimes I don't even realize it. You know, when I start rattling, I'm certified in this, and I'm certified in it, and I'm certified.
Right.
But you don't even know it's there sometimes until you take a breath.
That's true, man.
Be still for a second. But I hope you guys keep running, and I really enjoyed Jesse's teachings and his interviews. His interviews are especially poignant for me.
Yeah.
Like, that is true journalism.
And it's and it's a great example of the same examples that you're talking about, where you're just talking with a person and you're not afraid to address some of the uncomfortable things and not make them answer the question, but give them the opportunity repeatedly to answer the question that they're not answering. And if they don't want to, that's fine. And just show patience and love, because people get puffed up. And like you said, you want to win, but Jesse's not trying to win. He's trying to awaken. And
yes.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if they're drawing the target on themselves.
Yeah.
Throughout the interview with their answers.
Totally.
Because then by the time you know it, they've stabbed themselves so many times.
Yeah.
Their ethos that they've created for themselves, their identities. And they've completely done it themselves. And they'll try to fight back logically, or like I've heard people, I reject the framing of the question. Or, you know,
Adam Mockler on Monday, I guess that was. I forget when.
Yes. But, you know, all of them are kind of like that. No, I don't agree on the premise.
Right.
Or, but I just really like how he doesn't judge. He'll interview anybody, from what I can tell. He hasn't turned anybody down, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, and he just treats them all the same.
That's right.
It's just amazing. The people you think, the ones that are out on the street corner saying, I'm for fill in the blank, you know, whatever the mascot of the day is, are really the most treacherous. You know, at the end of the day, they really don't stand for any of that, and they hate it.
That's true, man.
As if the Black Lives Matter people, you know, through their interviews and things that are public knowledge, they've turned out to be self-enrichers.
Yeah. They're just on an ego trip.
Known as...
Don't know or care about the real truth.
No, and they're like, holy cow, this is getting traction. These wild theories and accusations against white people are actually, we can make money doing this.
Yeah.
And be popular. Oh my gosh, the colleges are teaching it now. Now we have professors teaching it.
Totally.
And now it's in our
the media jumps on it too. They're like, oh, this is ratings. Oh, maybe was it racism? Trayvon Martin, was it racism? So phony.
You know, I think history, you know, American history should be taught, you know, as kind of like a meanwhile in Russia. You know, they show the conflicts at Russia in the time, or China, or how people lived, you know, not only in America, but in other parts of the world. Because I tell my children that the world is a very dark place for human beings.
It is, man. Scott, it's great talking with you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, continue growing.
Do call again, man.
Yeah.
And good luck with those employees and customers. Take care, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Bye.
All right. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. I'm James Hake, filling in for Jesse Lee today. Back in a moment, guys.
Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing.
Eight 773 888-77-JESSE. I am James Hake, filling in for Jesse Lee Peterson today. This Friday, it is Black Friday. Shout out. The lines are filling up. There is one line open. You can call in. But as I mentioned last hour, we have the Fallen State happening after the Hake Report, which is happening after the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And then after the Fallen State with Jimmy Dore is going to be American Anchor Baby. That's the JLP network, jesseleepeterson.com/show. And you can find links up. There's a link up at the top to the Fallen State if you need it. Most of you guys are familiar with the Fallen State. Or you can scroll down or check the network, click the network and jump down and see links to the Hake Report, to American Anchor Baby, and to Punchy TV, which is live, or was live, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Check that out if you so please. Also available on audio podcast. Church will be live on Sunday, if the Lord is willing, and the creek, I shall say, doesn't rise since I'm white. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. You can donate to support Bond. I do recommend it. JLP does a lot of work. You can click on that. You can screenshot and tap on that QR code thing, and maybe it'll work if your phone is smart enough and if you're clever enough. Or you can go to enter into a browser, a web browser, if you know what that is, rebuildingtheman.com/donate. Call the Bond office, 1-800-411-BOND, BOND, which is 1-800-411-2663. Or send a check or money order to Bond, P.O. Box 35090, Los Angeles, California, 90035, USA. And it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization established in 1990 by Jesse Lee Peterson, 35 and a half years ago or more. Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Donations tax deductible if you're in the U.S. of A. But if you're a supporter from outside the United States, it's also good to support regardless of any tax deductions. Nice, nice. So make sure you do support. And by the way, also on that website of rebuildingtheman.com is the silent prayer, Jesse Lee Peterson's silent prayer. rebuildingtheman.com/silent prayer. You may have heard a caller mention it earlier, a couple of callers perhaps. rebuildingtheman.com/silent prayer. Be quiet. In repentance and rest is your salvation, said God to Israel. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. But you would have none of it, God said. In like Isaiah somewhere, I don't know. And so be quiet. A lot of the times it says, I think it says, meditate on your bed and be still. That's in the Bible. Meditate within your heart on your bed and be still. And that's Psalm 4:4, which says, be ye angry and sin not. Psalm 4:4, I think, says that, by the way. And so you Ephesians 4:26 people, it says to be angry. Oops, I spit. Don't spit in the studio, Hake. It says to be angry. It's not saying to be angry. Anyway, it's kind of telling you how to, it's kind of the assignment. Feel this anger, let it pass through you. It's kind of like the assignment. Anyway, make sure you do catch Church with JLP Peterson, rebuildingtheman.com/church. Nice, nice. Bible thumping Hake on a Friday. Okay, so before I get back to your calls, hang tight, callers. I wanted to talk about black people and hear a fellow white, a Canadian competitor, talk to black people. I saw this floating around on X recently, and I was like, is this LeBron James podcast? Because LeBron James has this show. He's a competitor of mine, right? At least in the podcast world. I don't know. I might be able to get a shot in on him, too, on basketball. I can shoot left as well. Anyway, no, this is not LeBron James. This is just some other barbershop. Because LeBron James supposedly had a show with barbershop, and they would talk, and it was like a podcast thing, or a talk show or something. But no, here is Steven Crowder. You may have heard of him. He's the one who got us all in trouble, making fun of some LGBT type of a person, so-called. And that journalist, activist, LGBT type of person got him in trouble and the whole rest of us in trouble on YouTube years ago. And then he fixed it for himself, but not for the rest of us. And then the rest of us, Trump's election, I guess, fixed it for the rest of us. Thank you, Trump. Bringing back the spirit of the freedom of speech to these platforms, at least on some level, not fully. They're not all the way. But I see this from Derek, our black producer. Steven Crowder went to a barbershop and debated black men. Outkick shared this information. Steven Crowder returned, I guess he was there before, to a barbershop in Dallas, that's in Texas, and Obama was talking about Dallas. He fantasized about sending the National Guard to Dallas. He was envious that Trump got to do it, but he didn't. For the second time with the intent of having a discussion, Steven Crowder, who is a guy on the internet, YouTuber, podcaster guy, about racial talking points with members of the black community. And so this is from X, one of the viral moments. A little portion of the discussion. Here's Crowder telling a group of black men reparations are immoral. And they, according to Derek, the black producer of the JLP Peterson show, they caved in. They imploded. Check this out.
Bad decisions, personal accountability. We'd all be against reparations, and we'd all be against the criminal justice reform.
I'm definitely for reparations.
I'm for reparations. See, that to me, you said excuse.
Yeah.
That sounds like an excuse to me.
You ain't paid me back. You ain't paid me for what you owe me. It's
what did I take from you?
You can't start another bill
what did I take
until
from
you pay this old bill.
What did I take from you?
You didn't take but your ancestors.
But you just said you.
When I say you, I meant it as a euphemism.
But can you understand why white people hear it and get pissed off?
Yeah.
Because I can take shit.
But they're not mad about the advantages that were built into their lives.
So you want young people to pay? Sounds like an excuse.
Nobody wants to address. And even, even without paying us back, Steve, no, my thoughts are on this here. give us an opportunity to exercise our ability and our autonomy.
What? That's sort of, is that guy talking about he's for reparations, but then he says, give us an opportunity to exercise our autonomy? That doesn't even make sense. He reminds me of this communist guy, literal communist. You know how I throw the term, if you're familiar with Hake, I throw around the term communist all the time. But it reminds me of this communist guy whom I debated. Incidentally, I debated him about slavery too. This Middle Easterner, white Middle Easterner guy, young, short, but fit. I'm blanking on his name, but it was one of my first appearances on Modern Day Debate. He was pro-communism, but he was talking about independence. You can't be communist, meaning dependent on government or white people's money or the government's money or the rich people's money, and yet also be independent. It's a false sense of independence. What do you mean autonomy? Because you want these people are more and more brainwashed every generation. It's crazy. Maybe the tide is turning, I don't know. It could be because there are more and more people thinking about this racism stuff is phony. The blacks are the worst offenders at this profiling and prejudice and assuming and saying ridiculous claims. They've been saying ridiculous claims all my life. It seems like even before my life. I was born in the early 80s. But it's gotten more and more even ridiculous, more and more ridiculous. Reparations wasn't even mainstream, I don't think, among black people until recently, I think. Until recently. Now you have grown, adult, maybe even older than Hake, I'm in my 40s, men talking about, I want reparations. It's not an ask. We're not asking. Jesse calls it begging. Jesse Lee Peterson, always begging and blaming, begging for reparations. We're not asking. What, you're demanding? Give me my autonomy. You already have your autonomy. You're just blind. It's ridiculous. It's terrible. So here's a little bit more. Steven Crowder, I noticed he had to drink that water. Did his throat get dry with these blacks yelling at him? No, he faces people all the time. But I wonder. Because when you're faced with people and these guys just, they seem so nice. They're not getting violent. They're just shouting. Blacks are loud. But anyway, here's Crowder telling a group of black men that over 95% of living white Americans have no direct connection to slave owners. Check this out.
What if I have no root in slavery?
Well, you don't own nothing. You don't owe anything. Your grandfather, if your grandfather from Canada, he wasn't down here owning slaves.
Okay, I'm just trying to. So then people who didn't own,
down here telling
we don't pay reparations.
He owe money.
But Steve, here's what I'm telling you, though. Hold on a second. Here's what I'm telling you. If you're to go through the numbers, sir, do we agree? If I have no connection to slavery whatsoever, that I don't owe. Me. You don't.
We
agree.
Don't.
Okay. So do you realize that you could take all the white people in this country, and if you're going to add up everyone where you could actually trace the lineage to slave owners or had any involvement, you would end up with maybe 2 or 3%. 2 or 3% of white people in this country.
There go them numbers. There go them numbers. You throw out, there go them numbers.
Most of us have nothing.
Somebody did it. Somebody did.
Yeah, Africans sold them into slavery.
Somebody owed.
It's still going on right now.
Somebody owed.
There are more slaves on earth right now than ever. Did you know that?
Nice. It's honestly beside the point because nobody owes anybody over slavery. It's a nothing issue. They were already fed, housed. It was part of the deal. It's not like they were offered, oh, come to America. There's great opportunities. Psych? No. You were captured and sold and bought and kept alive and allowed to make children or forced to make children. I don't know. And it's not even you. A fortune is made and lost and made again and lost again many times just within somebody's lifetime. You make a lot of wealth, you squander it. Look at some of these basketball players or others, fighters. They make tons of money. And then they lose it because they squander it, they don't manage it well or whatever. And I hadn't heard this number that only 2% of living people have any connection to slavery, but I heard from my uncle that white people have some black in them, so would they get the so-called reparations too, as if there's anything to repair. There's nothing to repair. I heard that American slave masters were better to their slaves than, for example, Middle Eastern or Arab or Muslim slave masters, because the Muslims slaves masters, you might call them smarter, not in a good way, in an evil way, because they would not make them have children, because children end up helping and working too. Have children, child slaves, and then grow up to be slaves in the house in America. But so if slaves were together in families. Sometimes they were split up, but most of the time they were not, I heard. And over there, they would castrate them, meaning they couldn't even have kids. Nobody wants to be castrated forcibly, but over in the Middle East they were, I heard. And so they didn't have a remnant population or exploded population.
There you go with them numbers again.
I know how he feels. Ridiculous. And they want it from the government, so that means anybody who pays taxes is paying to it. And it's not going to do anything for them. That's not their issue. Their issue is blindness, brainwashedness, being into the blackness, identifying with their race. And they do it way more than anybody else. Now on earth, you are whatever you are. So there is a practical side to having this identity, but it's not a spiritual identity to where you get prideful and puffed up and provoked. The way that blacks more than anybody get provoked over a racial offense, imagined most of the time. Totally ridiculous. There's a lot of whites who are becoming white identity, which is fine. I mean, you gotta be a nation. You're supposed to be a nation, right? And have some cultural cohesion. This diversity stuff is not working well. But if you're getting provoked inwardly by this racial stuff, you're angry and blind. And that's not good for you or anybody, and it's not good for the country. What a mess. Shout out to the black people, and shout out to Steven Crowder for facing the heat. Those were nice guys. They weren't going to do anything. Hopefully. Oh, man. John is a first-time caller in Minnesota on the line here. John, thank you for calling, sir. You're live with Hake, guest hosting for JLP.
Hey, Hake, how's it going, buddy?
Going well. How about you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm a big fan of all you guys. But I just wanted to call in real quick and say, I want my reparations, man.
For what?
I missed out on this white privilege. And, I would like to get that white privilege paid up to me.
I know.
Is there any chance we can start that bandwagon for the white?
It would be nice. If anything, they owe us, don't they? I mean, they've brought down the value of many cities and many places where they occupy. We relegated them to the ghettos. And then they didn't take care of the ghettos. And so those ghettos are not nice to visit. Shout out.
That's right, man. So,
I was talking with a caller about what a drag on society some people can be by being irresponsible, committing crimes, causing accidents or being in accidents or whatever, and stealing and lying and not working when you're supposed to be working, being dishonest. I think I said that already. But that's all too many of them, and they're blind to it. They think just by existing they're valuable. No, you make at least in a worldly sense.
Yeah.
As a fellow human being, we value your life, right? Because we're sensible, civilized people. But you're supposed to make yourself valuable. You're supposed to, if you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna respect you? Something like that?
Yeah,
Where's the common
absolutely,
sense? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't believe in racism at all anymore now that, I mean, I've had counseling with Jesse.
Did you used to be racist or believe that racism was real or feel like a victim of racism?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I was a victim when I was a kid. See, I grew up in a place where I was the minority.
Are you white?
And always,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a white man, and I was always getting in fights with people that were like Native American and different cultures and stuff.
By Native American, you mean like the American Indians?
Like the American Indian. Yeah.
Okay.
And I always have like a diverse friends, but I always felt like I was attacked because I was white. You know what I mean?
And it may have been true because of the anti-white brainwashing. But in some cases, it may just be your imagination because you were different, so you're thinking, they treat me differently.
It could be that we're just young men and we have all testosterone,
right?
Just chasing women and getting into fights all the time. But,
if somebody's fat, they're gonna, and you have some kind of conflict with them, you call them fatso. Don't say that, kids. If somebody's white boy. If somebody's black, blank. Yep, totally.
Yeah.
But it's the personal conflict that prompted it.
Yeah, and I grew up around that, and I just never, like, most of my life, I just looked at it like just a lot of hate in the world, and after watching you guys and Jesse, I just realized that's all it is, man. It's just hating people's egos, and people just got to crawl out of their own hell.
Yeah,
and just stop it. I mean, what are we doing? We're 2025. We still have wars. Like, what are we doing, folks? I mean, can't government start looking at the big picture that they work for us, we the people, to start taking care of the people? So everybody should be able to take care of each other. But get off your behind and work. That's
right.
Like, I've had this white privilege thing thrown in my face so many times. Dude, I left home with $15 in my pocket. I got kicked out of my house. I had a half a tank of gas, and my car broke down on the way to my destination. I had to start a job that following Monday, and I moved into this crappy apartment. And if I can do it, anybody can.
That's right.
And you just got to get out and do it, not be afraid. And, fear's a big thing. And they just try to, well, we all know they've beaten down men so bad and womanized us. And, so, I mean, thank God for people like Jesse Lee and you guys.
Indeed, man. John, I got to run, man. Appreciate your call. Take care, sir.
Yeah, brother. Take care. It was nice talking with you.
Back in a moment.
Check out Punchy's Coffee. I have my own coffee now. Punchy Coffee is good. Every bag is roasted to order. Freshest flavor. Top quality. Specialty grade beans. Good. Every dime goes back to Bar, my nonprofit. And we are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. So when you're drinking coffee and enjoying it, just know you're helping somebody. Amazing coffee. Punchy has his own coffee now. What the? And it's so good. All the way from the plantation to my own coffee. Who would have thought? Did that coffee come from the plantation? Did I pick my own coffee? Check it out. Go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com/stores, and get Punchy's Coffee.
some serious mess going on in this whole here world, such as Target's gonna lay off like 1,000, I heard, corporate employees per Commie Nonsense Network, and they're acting like, okay, so they have decreased sales. Maybe the economy is kind of rough right now. Thanks, Biden? Can we blame Biden? Or can we blame the overreaction to the China virus? What do we blame? I don't know. Or they also talk about the CNN blames like the overreaction against how they started getting rid of their DEI stuff, right? There's probably enough blind brainwashed people overreacting about them getting rid of their evil DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense and transgender mess. Remember Target had that transgender display or something like that in their store. And that was outrageous to some of us Christians and sensible people who don't like that stuff. And so did that hurt their sales? Is it DEI? Is it anti-DEI people boycotting them? Or is it just the times, tough times, right? Hard times. So people want to use whatever's going on for any political thing, and you can make a case for anything. What a mess. I mentioned about those several detention facilities being built up, and we talked about the NBA gambling probe. Alaska Airlines had an IT information technology outage that grounded flights, and I think it grounded them for like 8 hours. It's horrible. What a mess. So, nice. This is the end of hour 2 of the JLP Peterson Show. Guest hosted by Hake and Anchor Baby helping out and helping make it happen. And we are taking your calls, but this is Hake news, not fake news. JLP is out today, but we will return for the third and final hour of the JLP Peterson Show after this news break, okay? Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, talking about that tropical storm Melissa churning in the Caribbean Sea, likely to strengthen into a major hurricane by the weekend. Meteorologists warning that it's serious flooding to Jamaica and Hispaniola, as heavy rainfall expected to persist for several consecutive days, or at least a few, but maybe several. The storm's outer bands brushing against Jamaica and western Haiti, where hurricane watches are in effect. Tropical storm warning also in effect for those islands, or these islands, whatever. Officials urging residents to prepare for power outages, landslides, and dangerous seas out on the sea. And the Department of Homeland Security funneling $10 billion, billion with a B, 10, through the Navy to help facilitate construction of a sprawling network of migrant, so-called illegally alien, detention centers across the United States. Sources say the arrangement is aimed at getting the centers built faster as the Trump administration works to ramp up dramatically nationwide immigration operations, right? Enforcement of immigration law and arrest a record number of migrants, illegals. Construction on some facilities to begin as soon as next month, I guess. They say somebody said the goal is to house as many as 10,000 people each in these facilities, and expected to be built in Louisiana, Georgia, PA, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Utah, Kansas. Nice. Federal prosecutors announced indictments of an NBA coach and basketball Hall of Famer. I think it's a local Hall of Fame, not the NBA Hall of Fame, I think. As well as a current player and former player, alleging they were involved, and I guess 35 people total. So maybe others who are not players, NBA players. A mafia link alleged gambling schemes. Set of gambling schemes. Per investigation, Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, Billups, lured people to rigged poker games, hidden cameras, x-ray tables, and other stuff. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, R-O-Z-I-E-R. Damon Jones, former player. Fixing the games, maybe, something, I don't know. I'm James Hake. Now back to the JLP Peterson Show, Hour 3.
to stand up strong. Ain't the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We are also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am, as you know, James Hake, filling in for Jesse Lee Peterson today. Jesse Lee is out, but he's fine, all right? Don't be worrying. Don't get in your head speculating. The snake pit always gets busy. We have the Jesse Lee Peterson show today. We have the Hake Report. We have the Fallen State premiere with that guy. So cool. Check it out. Jimmy Dore. So exciting. And then American Anchor Baby today. A busy schedule. We have Church with Jesse Lee Peterson on Sunday. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. If the Lord is willing and the creek doesn't rise. Forgive me for speaking black. It is Black Friday. We are going to get to all of your calls and your super chats here. We see them. We appreciate them. Imported TV says, thank you, Hake, Nick, and Daryl. Who's Daryl? For holding it down. For the great Black Hope. Salute emoji. Thank you, Imported TV. And thank you again, Steven, for your sticker. Very nice. And we see more of your coffees coming in on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. I will read those. We will read those. And on Cash App, Bond JLP is how you can support on Cash App. There's a QR code right there on the screen right now. If you're hearing my voice and you're watching the video, you can screenshot that and then tap it or whatever, and then a suggested thing comes up. Maybe if you have the Cash App app, or is it called the Cash App app, or is it called the Cash App? Anyway, whatever. And you can send in a little monetary tip to JLP, and if you put a message in there, we should be able to see it and read it on air, kind of like a super chat. Nice. It is Get It Off Your Chest Friday, and it is Black Friday. That was then. So nice. Shout out. So classy. Families together.
Happy Black Friday, man.
What's wrong with the black?
Whoa.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody can actually know. There's no love in the blacks.
Everybody hates us.
No.
Not all, but most.
Right. So that's what's wrong with the blacks.
That's what's wrong with the blacks.
Whoa. Terrible. Was that you or was that the other guy? That was the other guy. There's somebody who made that for us. Thank you, sir or ma'am. I would like to get to a few of your calls, and we may get to more great stories. And I do want to get to all of your super chats. I like to get to them the same day, right? Because that's good practice. We build up quite a lot during Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, and then we read those on Monday here on the show. So thank you, guys. Guys includes gals. But let me get to James in Kentucky, who's been on hold, had to call back a couple of times here. James in Kentucky, you are on the line here, sir. James.
Hake report. La la la. Morning, Hake.
Hey, it's good to hear from you, James in Kentucky. Are you a first-time caller? I forget.
No, I called you a couple times before. Then I called Nick, too.
Nice.
This is my first time calling during Jesse's time. I just had to hop out of my truck because it's quite loud in there. And
Are you
I had to be in.
Are you a trucker? A big semi trucker? Whatever a semi
I
is.
can drive one. I'm a fuel hauler.
Nice.
Yeah, right now I'm running a bunch of off-road diesel. I just got done doing a drop into my next location. But it's a little loud in there, and obviously I can't have my headphone. I can't have my phone to my hands, or else the camera's going to yell at me, and then my boss is going to call me Monday.
That's right. Got to do things right. Shout out to the truckers who do things right. Follow the rules.
Yeah, shout out to the road warriors. Well, we try to keep America moving.
Indeed.
So, but I want to call and talk about kind of what's going on, when it comes to keeping America moving, which is, you probably may or may not have seen it, but it's gotten worse in the past decade or so. But there's been more and more that they're holding CDLs, and they really should not be getting in CDLs because
a CDL. Let me interrupt you. A CDL is a commercial driver license.
That's correct.
Allowing people to drive, allowing the holder of that license to drive a big rig type of thing. Truck.
Yeah, up to a big rig. That's an A license. Yes, there's a few other underneath it.
Okay.
Technically, the one I'm driving would only be a B.
Oh, okay.
Because so
and
yeah,
I have
the A
a
license
C.
are the ones that drive.
Us normies, us little people, suckers, driving these little sedans and little trucks and things. Relatively speaking, we have a regular C license, right? Is this a C?
Well, I mean, you're in California,
Class
so maybe
C.
a little different.
I think it is a Class C, at least in California. Anyway, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, Class D is normal. Some states probably moved it to C, even though there is technically a CDLC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so an example of a CDLC would be if you're driving, like a short
Uber?
bus.
Oh, okay.
No, that'd be a chauffeur. Some states require chauffeurs license. No, like short bus. So school bus drivers, they used to be C, and I think they moved it up to B. But that used to be one of the holders. But it's usually vehicles under the weight rating. And like I said, it goes all the way up to A, which is your big riggers, or basically any tractor trailer. B is just the tractor. That's the one I'm driving right now. I'm working my way. I have an A, but the company I'm at right now only needed me for pulling a tank wagon right now.
Yeah.
But one day, but I can drive an A just fine, no problem. But what's really annoying is, have you ever heard of the YouTube channel Bonehead Truckers? Not trying to solicit, just asking.
No, I haven't heard. Don't mention other channels, but I have not heard of such a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I was just asking about that.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of this happen out here, especially in central Kentucky, where, some of these accidents that we're seeing with these rigs, like the people, they can't speak any English, and they can't. And it's like I wonder if they can even read the signs. Like I had one going up the wrong way, and I had to do some defensive driving not long ago myself. Yeah, and it's just some of these mega carriers are getting in trouble. Some of them say it's falsely claimed, some don't. But who can know anymore? But there's been that's one thing that hopefully Trump will crack down on is how some of these, especially in California and Texas, where you got these illegals that are getting a CDL and they can't speak any English, they can't read signs, and they're causing all kinds of accidents.
Right.
I mean, there was a really bad one that happened happened last month in Texas where a driver plowed through 5 cars.
Wow.
And so. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, trucking, decades ago used to be,
I heard about that. Is that the one that happened this week on the 10 freeway out there in California?
Well, it happened this week. That's a new one. That happened this week. That's a new one that I'm not aware of.
There's one that happened on, I want to say Tuesday, I think. And an illegal Indian trucker was allegedly driving under the influence. He didn't even hit the brakes, and he slammed into a traffic jam on the 10 freeway here in California, just out that way, in Ontario, California. And fatalities. Imagine the horror all around. That's crazy. And he was somebody who the Biden administration did not deport. They knew about him. And apparently, according to what I heard, if I heard correctly from Bill Mallusion of Fox News, if I'm recalling correctly, they allowed him to stay. And California maybe is the one who gave him the license. I don't know. The CDL license.
California keeps coming up when it comes to where a lot of these illegals are getting their trucks and trailers certified out of because of some of these policies.
Too, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm seeing more out of California more than anything.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I would not be surprised if it's out in, I wouldn't be surprised if it's out in New York, but most of what I've seen has been out of California.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like it's just like CDLs. I mean, it's not something that not everybody should be allowed to get because you're driving, of course, something substantially more dangerous and requires more skill than if just a four-wheel.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I heard that if you have a DUI on your record, you are automatically disqualified from getting any trucker driver license.
So there's truth in that. It depends on.
Wow.
I have to say
they have exceptions, huh?
Wow. They do. So there is a concept called aggravated DUI. Aggravated DUI is a point. If you blow a .16, you're considered an aggravated DUI. That you will lose your. Yeah, exactly. You will lose your CDL first offense. Now, if you blow under aggravated, which a lot of them try to argue for, and just a normal DUI, they take your license away for different states at different lengths of time.
Wow.
Kentucky was, I think, 2, because it happened to an old coworker of mine. He got busted drinking, and I think he lost it for 4 or 5 years. But then you get it back.
Okay.
Yeah. But the biggest problem, it's not getting it back is not the worst part. It's the fact that and all truck drivers know this. There's a separate thing called SAP, which is run by Clearinghouse. SAP is substance abuse program. So basically, if you touch the marijuana, you drink, you do any of that, and you're busted, you're on that list. And what happens is basically most people won't hire you because, of course, the insurance will absolutely be terrified because if you were to do anything or if anybody hits you, lawyers go to town on people that are on it. So even if you're completely not at fault, you could be sitting in a stationary vehicle and somebody could hit you. This happened actually in Nashville 3 months ago.
What a mess.
It happened in Nashville. Yeah, a fuel hauler was stationary. The truck and trailer was parked. A 10-year-old ran into the back of it, died, and the lawyer was able to get the driver and the company at fault because he was on SAP. And so the lawyer's like, well, you hired a driver. It's basically a substance abuse program.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like you're basically like fishing with dynamite.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. That's why a lot of these companies, they get nervous trying to hire people that are even on it to begin with, because like I said, you don't even have to be at fault.
Yep.
I mean, even in general, like I was actually first taught this when I first went to school was, he said, you have to assume with this license that you're going to more than likely, if you're in an accident, even in your personal, you're going to be considered at fault.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't actually cause it. And I said, well, why does that make sense? He says, because you're considered a professional driver.
Yeah, you're held to a higher standard, even a ridiculous, stupid standard sometimes because of these lawyer liars.
If somebody rear-ended me, I'm going to be the one assumed at fault because I have the A. That's why I have cameras on my personal vehicle to record, to catch it. Yes, that's why, anybody tries to mess with, these big rigs, a lot of them are trying to do it to get fraud insurance.
Yeah.
That's why all these trucks, including the one I drive, they all got cameras.
Man,
because of that.
Mess.
It is a mess. And it's even more a mess how these companies like mega carriers are able to get these illegals that can't speak English, but somehow get CDLs.
Yeah.
And they can't read signs. And for whatever reason, they're able to justify hiring them. And it's bad, especially more down south in Texas. Texas is horrible for it. Arizona, California, a lot of it. And that's kind of why, you know, for me and a lot of the other truckers out there, we're kind of like hoping, you know, Trump, can you like fix this problem? Because this has been a long-standing problem, and it's only gotten worse.
Yeah.
In the coming years. Yes.
You know,
Because,
the obvious one that I don't think, well, you may have mentioned, but I might have missed it, was that outrageous U-turn by that one the other original illegal Indian driver who did the U-turn in the middle of a highway, and a car plowed into him, and it killed the occupants of that car. It's just ridiculous. And I think he was known to be here illegally and had a license, and I think that might have been the one from New York. What a mess.
Yeah, it's a shame on the mess.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I can only hope, you know, in these next coming years, Trump can clean all this up, because, you know, these roads, they're used to, you know, trucking, of course, you have standards. You know, when you saw somebody who drove a rig, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew how to be safe. And you got these people who, you know, I call them steering wheel holders because they're all driving automatics.
Yeah.
But it's like you can give anybody and their grandma a CDL, and then all of a sudden, you know, now they're all over the place. And it's just, I hope in the coming years, you know, that problem can be fixed.
I hope so too, James in Kentucky. I appreciate your call, man. I got to run.
All right, hey, thanks a lot. Hey, shout out to all you guys out there. Keep America safe. Keep America staying great. Take care, guys.
All right, you too. James in Kentucky knows the trucker situation. They're not as strict about the trucking as they pretend. Let me get to Jason, a first-time caller out of Washington State. Is it, Jason?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep, Aberdeen.
Good to hear from you, sir. What's
I
up?
appreciate you having me on. I did want to find out what your opinion was on the government shutdowns, as far as just, do you think that's the right way of going with how long it is? Because I know it's been the longest in history since a few days or a few years. So I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
I suppose it's right. On whose part? Somebody's got to be wrong eventually, right? Because they're having a disagreement. And in a disagreement, there's people who are right and wrong about different things, right? So I would say that it seems like the Republicans and Trump versus the Democrats are trying to play like chicken on who can hold out and take the most blame for it. And a lot of us don't really care because we're not really affected unless we go to the airport. And then there's like a million or more, maybe 1.4 million or something, if I read it right, government employees who are being either furloughed or which means they're not working, or they are working but without any pay for this duration. And those people are hurting, I guess.
Yes.
So that part is kind of rough for them. But that's the risk that you run working for the government. Most of the time, working for the government is a cushy deal. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily feel sorry for government workers because they stay paid anyway. Some of them should be fired. Some of them are just working against the country but working for the government. So I don't really... They're a bunch of liberals.
Right, so you think they're at the fault because technically they did choose to sign that contract knowing that potentially there could be a shutdown.
Yeah,
so
a government shutdown, it feels like it's not news anymore. It happens quite commonly. In my lifetime, I've seen it happen multiple times, and they scaremonger about it, and it's like unremarkable. And some people are protesting and striking or calling out sick and not going to work. And I don't know if that's selfishness, greed, or a protest to try to hurt Trump and hurt the Republicans and making the people hurt, you know? Because you're making because if you're causing delays at airports because you're understaffed, because you're calling out sick, because you're mad you're not getting paid for a time being, or you just want to hurt Trump, that's selfish. That's evil. So I don't know. That's my those are my thoughts. I don't really have a conclusion. What do you say?
That's totally. I mean, I think that it's definitely selfish on the part of the lawmakers, being that it is 12 appropriate bills that they were trying to decide on. So I'm just wondering if they just needed extra time because it was one of those kids, you know, like those folks who last minute, you know, day of the assignment needs to be turned into like, oh shit, you know, and so they're like, oh, let me call in sick, let me come up with a good excuse above, oh, my dog ate my homework, and then teachers like, oh no, yeah, that's good, totally understand, and then they use that BS excuse to kind of still get away with not doing the job right. So
well,
I kind of,
it's interesting because this is all politics, and politics is a lot about appearances and what you can fool the people into believing, or what the people believe to be true. And right now, the Republicans and Fox News are acting like, oh, this is a Democrat shutdown. And I think objectively it might kind of be a government shutdown because the Republicans aren't trying to sneak anything different in. They're just trying to pass it as is because the government is shutting down because they've been spending way too much money. And so they've hit the debt ceiling. And when you hit the debt ceiling, you got to shut down and fix things.
Like literally look at the numbers and be like, okay, what are we going to spend on agricultural food programs?
Yeah, but the Democrats want to plug in a whole bunch of other stuff that the Republicans don't want, and the Democrats may get a little bit of their way, and Trump and the Republicans may work with them. You have to work with evil people and make some evil compromises to get to keep the country going, I guess, or at least the government going. The country's doing just fine in the meantime, but it's part.
And when you mean by evil, I just kind of want to get clarification.
So, like, the Democrats may want some type of welfare thing passed, and welfare is generally evil. Like, I don't know,
like the Affordable Care Act,
stuff like that. Yeah, subsidies from the Obamacare thing, and to help subsidize somebody's health insurance. And so that's an evil thing, but that's something that they voted for, they crammed in. It's been going on for 15 years or so, plus or minus. And so you have to compromise and keep it going. You just have to, type of thing.
Right, kind of like how they argued that any stopgap funding bill, continuing resolution, must include healthcare protections.
Yeah,
because I know that they were trying to do something to where they wanted to extend funding, you know, which could cause large premium increases for many Americans for the ACA. So I find it interesting as far as the goal. I mean, I know that they want to make it more affordable. Obviously, they don't want those premiums to go up for low income, which is typically the people who use Medicaid. But it was already expensive, and as far as what they were getting for those services they would need, there's a lot of qualifiers. You can't just sign up for Medicaid. You really need to prove that you're poor, that you're low income, and it's like a limited insurance to where you can only get a certain amount of coverage based on, you know, an array of factors. And
well, I know that they were talking about all the talk that I was hearing was about, and it was a Republican talking point, which is a Republican point. A talking point is a point. It's a real point. Our dean accused Anchor Baby of just using talking points. He was making real points. But what the point that the Republicans were making was that the Democrats wanted health insurance for illegal aliens.
They wanted health insurance for illegal aliens?
Yep. Or health care for illegal aliens, subsidizing illegal alien so-called health care.
Interesting.
Yep. Had you not heard that?
No, I was thinking that it was.
You need to listen to these conservative people. What did you hear? Go ahead.
No, I was thinking that they wanted to extend Affordable Care Act by helping lower insurance premiums. I didn't
it's
know
not
that
affordable.
It's people who were not documented immigrants.
Yeah, illegals. Right.
Interesting.
But they should abolish Obamacare because the government involvement is part of what drove up the cost of health, so-called care. and the insurance mess has become a
Right.
whole
Well,
racket.
no. Actually, I do know what you're talking about. So it says some Republican leaders and conservative media outlets have argued that those proposals that the Democrats came up with would indirectly benefit some undocumented immigrants. For example, some state-level programs, like in California and New York, already allow undocumented residents to buy into state-funded healthcare plans using the state money.
Is that
And
you
so
calling them
Democrats-
undocumented, or is that the media calling them undocumented?
I'm pretty sure it's the term. It's the media.
Yeah, because
undocumented,
they don't call
which
it what it
basically
actually
means
is.
illegal.
Yeah.
Well, it basically is an alien and illegal, someone who literally doesn't have the proper documentation to be a legal citizen. Someone
Right.
like on a visa or
Or
literally a
even
passport.
be a legal resident. They're here illegally.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that I've even seen situations, just a small example, we'll get back to the point, but I remember seeing folks just get beer, just get random stuff, and they're using a passport like they're on vacation. It would be like obviously someone who's from a Latin American country. And I find it, I'm like, so is this individual, how long have they been there? Is there a time limit for the length? Is it monitored? And then when I hear the other guy that came on, he was saying that those individuals are getting drivers like CDL licenses.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if they're doing it as an operator owner. So like as an independent contractor starting their own business with the money they get for, when they come over here or whatever, versus actually getting hired on through a company that has these strict regulations. Because you kind of get around it, I would believe, as an operator owner, which is pretty much, just to be transparent, I've never seen like an Indian or a Muslim literally work for a company. They start their own business.
Oh,
they're operator
interesting.
owners. So they're not going to, work with, like what they would consider the infidels based on religious beliefs. Because, of course, people have strict beliefs and they choose to live lifestyles along with that. So I'd never seen them on like a payroll for Old Dominion. I'd never seen them on any of these payrolls for large freighters I were working with in the past. So I think that might account for them being underneath a completely different regulation.
Crazy.
To where they're not held accountable.
That's
So
insane.
that may be a reason,
Yeah.
which is something
don't
that
know.
definitely needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
But I just found it very interesting. It's because like for example, the state level programs, they're only in 2 states, in California and New York, and pretty much the rest of the U.S. They are going to find out if someone can receive these programs based on obviously their citizenship, but I feel like in the 2 biggest cities, which California has the 6th largest economy in the world, you'd think that they would have the funds to really nip that in the bud. So I think that there is dumb policies that do not enable them to do that type of work. If that is just to really dumb it down, it's like that. Oh, you can't do that because they're just not allowed to, and it's making the states look bad because they want to be this sanctuary state, if you will. So they literally, the focus is to be the exact opposite of regulating these people, but giving them opportunity.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So
Thank you, Jason. I
feel like
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I do want to throw out there before you let me go, it's like it's not necessarily, aside from the race and I guess the fact that they're illegal, we need to really follow the book of law.
That's right.
That's not fair that these people are basically able to do what they want, but they're American citizens that are held to a higher standard because they're citizens. So, yeah, let's do that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your call. Call again, Jason in Washington.
Definitely.
All
Take
right.
care.
You as well. The treasure chest is allegedly opening on DLive, dlive.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson. Redistribution of lemons. And we are going to do the scratch-offs. Let me do it right now so that I don't make myself a liar. On pill.net. Release the scratch-off. How come it's not doing anything? Allegedly on pill.net. Do this. Okay, well, I don't know if I'll do the scratch-offs, but we'll do the DLive treasure chest. We'll be right back after this break.
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer.
I know some people have called in and they wonder if the silent prayer is working. And I just want to take a second and to tell them that it works. You just have to stick with it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I started doing before I even forgave my parents. And I was so depressed and suicidal at some times that I just would have to stop in the middle of my job or whatever I was doing and go into the silent prayer. And it really does help. Like, I don't have those anymore.
Amazing. You haven't seen anything yet. Doubt every thought. Bring every thought into captivity. Just let them all pass. Don't judge them. You haven't seen anything. It gets better and better and better and easier, easier, easier. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church.
Woo! Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound. It is Black Friday, and these blacks like this gospel music. I don't like that gospel music. That's the one black music I don't like. And I'm Christian. I like normal Christian music. And I don't even like that anymore. But anyway, this is Black Friday. It's also Get It Off Your Chest Day. I'm James Hake, filling in for JLP Peterson. Make sure you catch the Fallen State happening today with that guy, Jimmy Dore. Check out this little trailer. It's fun. And the interview is going to be fun. Here it is.
Next time on The Fallen State.
So do you love God?
If a gun to my head, I would say yes.
You need a gun to your head to say that?
You already did it. You already got me cornered.
Have you ever done a show and nobody laughed?
Yes.
What does that feel like?
Feels like just another day.
Were women created to lead or to follow?
I think they should just shut up.
I don't know.
This isn't the hot seat? Holy sh**.
TheFallenState.tv, guys. Make sure you catch it. That's going to happen right after the Hake report. I'm James Hake, filling in for Jesse Lee. Right after Jesse Lee ends, which is his show ends at just before 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. I'm live right after him. And then after that, The Fallen State at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 1 Central, 2 Eastern. And then American Anchor Baby. American Anchor Baby on YouTube and Rumble. Make sure you're following him everywhere. Also on punchy.tv. We are live on punchy.tv/JLP for Jesse, /Hake for Hake, /TFS for The Fallen State, /punchy.tv, punchie.tv, /Anchor Baby for the American Anchor Baby. And we also have Punchy TV, the show, Wednesdays. And you can podcast that. Make sure you like the video. Hit the like. I see Mao, Chairman Mao, hit like. JLP said Hitler hit like. What the heck? Over in Germany, I see you guys hitting like. So I picked some other bad guy. I see Stalin hitting like. Kidding around. Over on YouTube and Rumble and elsewhere. Follow Jesse Lee, JLP, on cozy.tv, where Christ is King, where that is a website set up by the future president, I call him. And cozy.tv/JLP. The JLP Show, The Fallen State, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Church on Sunday, guys. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. Donate. Do the silent prayer. Do you love black people? Yes, we love black people. Let's see here. Before I get back to your calls, let me just play this, and then I'll get to your call, and then I'll get to your calls and super chats. Maybe not in that order. But I wanted to talk about, did we play before this Asian woman crying racism? Have you played that before? I wanted, Derek, the producer of the JLP Peterson Show, told us about this Asian gal crying racism. And this is what I'm more used to. I'm used to like Asians and Hispanics crying racism because that's what I grew up around. I lived in the suburbs. And the suburbs were taken over not by whites. Maybe when my parents grew up, it was white and Hispanic. But then when I grew up, it was Hispanic and Asian. And then the Asians are probably outnumbering the Hispanics now, maybe. And there's a few blacks. But this Asian gal, and they cry racism. Like they learned it from black people or the fake civil rights propaganda, just exploiting the weakness and kindness, niceness, not kindness. Kind is right, nice is not. Nice is too nice. Kind is appropriately nice, we'll say. Right? An Asian woman screaming, according to Derek, I don't know if this is true, racism over seating arrangements. One of my Asian friends said he experienced racism. He was put in a corner in a restaurant before. I'm like, how do you know that was because of you being Asian? NBC LA reports the great white, as in like the great white shark, right? Up on Melrose, somewhere around here. I don't know my geography. Here in Los Angeles, I believe, getting a lot of backlash after an Asian patron. This is partly why we don't like serving your kind around here, because there's always going to be somebody who has sour grapes and in their head accusing, whether it's true or false, most of the time it's not. Dining at a restaurant claims she and other people of color, quote unquote, anti-white term, were segregated to one part of the restaurant. This is a clip from NBC LA. Here's the little, I guess, news report. Check this out.
Guys, I'm a great white, and I don't know if it's just me, but they put all Asians in one corner.
Cassidy Cho and her boyfriend dined at Great White Melrose on Saturday, September 27th, when she says she noticed the restaurant was seating all of the patrons who appeared to be Asian in one section of the restaurant.
The new party just came. Look.
Video she posted to social media documenting her experience got thousands of views and comments. And Cassidy says she quickly realized her experience wasn't unique.
And everybody in the comments were like, no, like that happened to us. And I think there were so many people coming to light and saying that's a shared experience that we've had.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Dude, I would do that.
You would do that? You would segregate?
I would do that totally subconsciously even maybe. You know, because we like order and we're just like all the shapes go together. Let's say I'm a server or a host seating these people. It wouldn't be racist. I'm just like, maybe even subconsciously, you know what I mean? Like these people seem to fit here. They seem alike.
And they weren't even she wasn't even having a bad experience. So she didn't scream racism, but she's like, it might just be me. And she shares it on the internet, putting the company on blast. And, what's the hard? What, you don't like Asian people? Asian lady? Young lady. She looked like she went to UCLA or something like that. Those UCLA people. I have a bias against anybody who went to UCLA. Not
and
anybody. Asians specifically went to UCLA or any UC. UC Irvine. Yeah. You can tell I have some
Canada,
animus.
It's the same way.
They get brainwashed.
The Asians in the universities, they're like exactly like this.
They think in the terms of race and brainwashing. And they don't even know any black people, by the way. When you bring up blacks, they think that you're the bad guy. When they don't even know black people, so they don't even know that how right I am when I talk about it.
And on the Asians I'm thinking of, they would say very openly, they'd be like, I'm only going to date and marry with an Asian and stuff.
Right.
So
and not just an Asian.
Just
watch out for the Filipinos.
Yeah.
Don't get with those Vietnamese. They have annoying voices. Stuff like that. Shout out.
That just means sausage.
So she didn't even have a bad experience. It was just
That's right.
amusing. But she looks like she's intelligent.
Got a big personality.
She's Asian, you know. But anyway, she seems like sort of educated. She said shared experience, liberal buzzword, communist buzzword, shared experience, because that's not a bad experience to be seated amongst other Asians.
They do that on their own if we didn't mess with them.
This reminds me of a story I heard in Dinesh D'Souza's movie, former JLP and Fallen State guest, Dinesh D'Souza, he did this documentary on Obama, and back in 2016, Obama's America. And in Obama's own words, he's recounting how his Muslim stepdad from Indonesia, Setero, brought his mother amongst white Americans in this area in Indonesia, I guess. And the mother, who first married a Kenyan, allegedly, and then married this Indonesian, both Muslims. One of them turned atheist. But she apparently hated white people, Obama's white mother, and she said, "These are not my people." Then that was in Obama's own words, reading from his book.
Jeez.
And this was before AI, so it wasn't just an AI voice, if I'm recalling correctly from this documentary.
Should leave America like this.
Yeah. Jeez. And so this Asian, Indonesian, Pacific Islander Muslim married to Obama's mom, trying to bring the mom around fellow whites. Is that racist? Give me a break.
Proximity to white people is not a right, says the chat.
Yeah, true. Funny. And like you said, it could be totally subconscious. It could be just come down to a server.
I would just be
the server
associative.
level.
It would just be associative for me, like maybe totally subconscious. Like,
I want to know who the server was. We got to dox the server.
These people fit here.
Meaning the waiter. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Or the host. Sometimes the host is the one that.
True.
It's a
yeah,
busy
that's
enough
right.
Restaurant, they'll have like a host up front.
Yeah, the usher, the host ushers you to your table.
Hostess.
So employees, here's the rest of this little news report. Employees from 2023 say that management told them to discriminate against people of color. From 2023, employees were saying this, or at least employees from 2023. Wow, trashing their employer. That's such the culture nowadays. Backstabbing turncoats. Here it is.
However, NBC4 tracked down former employees who say this was part of the management culture.
They were very direct about telling me to make sure I limit the amount of ethnic people that are coming in.
Sarah Breyer says she worked for
that.
Grand Blanco in Venice Beach in 2023 when it was owned by Sam Trude and Sam Cooper, the co-founders of the Great White Restaurants. She says her management directed her to treat people of color differently.
If Asian guests came in, we were told to seat them outside. Like, they never got an inside table.
Montana Pine also says she worked at Grand Blanco as a server when Sarah was a host there.
We were instructed to tell people that the restaurant was at capacity when, certain demographics came in that they did not want in the restaurant.
Montana quit a year ago. Both women said it was all too much to deal with.
She's crying almost.
No way.
She's literally holding her. When she's crying, she's lying. That was like a light-skinned black gal with the deeper voice talking about he instructed us to something. And then a white gal is like, yeah. These messy women and busybody news team. Like this is even worth investigating. Other than it's amusing to talk about. It got me animated. It's entertainment. But you're trying to hurt a business.
And I just don't believe
that's doing good by everybody. And the outside, for the Asians, outside is better. Sometimes Asians, specifically like certain types of Asians, talk loud. We just talked about how the Vietnamese have a piercing, obnoxious sort of voice. And some of the some of the Chinese are not as thoughtful and considerate of others around them. So they may be loud. Compared with like Japanese who are more considerate.
Right.
So I don't know. There's all kinds of different. Well, I'm kind of justifying if it's true. But go ahead.
I was just thinking. I just don't believe that a manager went to the black woman that his black employee and said, "Hey, make sure you keep these colored people out." Like no.
However, NBC4 tracked down former employees.
Like, I worked with many black servers and people, and they were quick to say sometimes, "Oh, I hate serving black people."
Right.
Oh, don't seat them.
They
here.
don't have any guilt to limit their speech, whereas everybody else has a false guilt.
So I can imagine. I don't know this lady. I can imagine her maybe even being with the manager when she was working there, but now that she's not,
agreeing.
she's like, "Oh yeah, they're racist."
Yeah, that's so evil. the media colluding with the busybodies, because the busybody, unchristian media, joining in with the mess. It reminds me of the Trayvon Martin thing. There were activists crying racism when Trayvon Martin was allegedly killed in self-defense after he beat up George Zimmerman, attacked the neighborhood watch, and the police knew that it was just a case of self-defense, so they didn't charge him. And then the local black communist agitators ginned up controversy. The media caught wind of it, and it became a national and international story. Pure speculation about, oh, was he racist? And then they edit the 911 call that George Zimmerman made to the police about, oh, I think he's black. They asked him his race, the suspect's race, or the suspicious person's race. It's ridiculous.
Which is pretty normal.
Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to get a description. So it's just phoniness. Busybody, messy media, communist, socialist, divide and conquer. Even the local news. Somebody said it's a weird tactic because if you walk outside and you see on the patio it's just a bunch of Asians, you might not want to go into this great white place. Yeah, true. What a mess. So it's not the black, dark, evil mindset of identifying with race, even when it's not even hurting anybody. You could ask to be moved, and I bet you that they would move you. Even when it's not hurting anybody, you want to cry this racism mess. Anyway, I better get back to the calls here, guys. Oh, and the Super Chats. Let me get to the Super Chats first because I don't want to be remiss. Super Chats. Super Chats.
Super Chats.
Kayla bought a coffee saying, good morning, about that $2,000 pastor. Funny description. It was strange to me that the woman was announcing the amount of her tithe. Yeah, that's right. You're supposed to give in secret. Don't let the right hand know what the left is doing. One time, Jesus witnessed a woman give 5 cents or 2 pennies, or whatever it was, 2 copper coins in the thing. And Jesus said she gave more than anybody. All these rich people, I almost said Jews, all these rich people giving little portions of their wealth, and she gave all she had. So Jesus saw it. But yeah, you're not supposed to witness it. I mean, you're not supposed to let people witness it. It's supposed to be just quietly, private. Nosy people may find out, but you're not anyway. Yeah, right. That's right, Kayla. Ridiculous. Although it's a tactic for fundraising. You know, such and such has a matching donation. But still, the heart should be humble. As the verse said, God loves a cheerful giver. Eric, 5 coffees on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. You can buy a coffee even over the weekend when we're not live, and we'll read them on Monday if the Lord is willing. Anyone who cries racism is a domestic terrorist. Good point, man. Anchor Baby has made that point about these terrorist women trying to inflict terror in you by way of this intimidation of sexism or whatever he was talking about. That is domestic terrorism because it's stirring up trouble. It's so evil. It's pure evil. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, that's right. That Asian young lady, busybody. And she got her reward of attention. I wonder if her boyfriend's white or Asian or what. Just curious. Or black. Eric, 5 more coffees. The truth will only come to those who welcome the truth. JLP. Thank you, Eric. That's a quote. Someone bought a coffee. That black was a total fed. And I'm not sure which black. I know this came in an hour or 2 ago. I wonder what you mean. Who? Which one? I'll ask, which one? Question mark. And I think you can reply, Mr. Someone or Ms. Someone, with your coffee. Let me read these super chats on YouTube. Steven Santiago, ha ha, ha ha. sticker with a woman with wild blonde hair or yellow hair. I think it's a woman. Imported TV, thank you, Hake, Nick, and Daryl. Maybe means Derek, Derrick, for holding it down for the Great Black Hope. Anthony, no message, thank you. Kevin, Hake, make a biblical question for us. Be angry and sin not. Is it telling you to be angry? That's a good question, right? Suffocation vacation, the Great Black Hope JLP t-shirt would be primo. Yeah, there is a Great Black Hope t-shirt designed by Lock Your Door. Nice. So JessieLeePeterson.shop. Get your Punchies coffee. Get Jesse Lee Peterson's books and merch on JessieLeePeterson.shop. We have a few items here on the at the Bond office, but if you go to JessieLeePeterson.shop, different flavors of Punchies coffee or blends, if you will. Blacker than black, Si Senor, single origin from Mexico, signature blend, medium roast, all those different. Get the whole bean, or you can get it get it ground by them for you, I guess, and sent to you, shipping included. And then there's the different types of T-shirts. Among them is, I do believe, the Great Black Hope. But when she's crying, she's lying, and all those other things. Mugs, stickers, I believe, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyone with anger is a murderer. And, of course, his books, Scam, How the Black Leadership Exploits Black America, From Rage to Responsibility. The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. And somebody yesterday called in and promoted to the Hake Report and promoted the 7 guaranteed steps to spiritual, family, and financial success. Just a little thin piece of book. Nice. So thank you for your supers, and go shopping. JessieLeePeterson.shop. One more super chat, I think, at least. Kevin says, keep JLP's catchy punchline phrases alive. Beta! Pardon me if I shouted too much into that mic there. And shout out to the supporters, Games for Rec 555-556-565, Kilo Alpha Tango. Thank you, Jules, Vern, and the rest of the supporters, Age of Inversion, on the Rumble crew. And let me see if Pill.net has come back to life. Yes, back to life. Let me do the scratch-offs while I can. And in the meantime, we just have a couple of minutes left here. The scratch and released. Sarah in Oklahoma, been on hold forever. Sarah in Oklahoma, thank you for calling and holding. You're live with Hake.
Hi. Oh, hi, how are you?
Doing
Shalom.
fine. Hey.
Hey. I wanted to talk to you about the, first of all, the scriptural context, which is like the book of Obadiah, and it says that those that eat your bread will lay an ambushment around you. And I was wondering if you all associate that with America at all, with the countries coming in and this recent agreement that the state of Nebraska made with Kenya through the mobility agreement to hire in all these Kenyan drivers.
Whoa.
So I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not.
Were you familiar with the mobility agreement? Yeah. So the governor signed an agreement. He went over and did a trip to Kenya because you understand that they have resources and they have some technology that America wants to tap into. And so they did a trade agreement with Kenya, and Werner Enterprises, which is So Werner Enterprises is, in the midst of this, but they're hiring hundreds of drivers from Kenya.
Wow.
And they're coming in, and so it's almost like an ambushment being made, and I just was wondering if the American people are seeing this as a judgment. Like the ambushments are being made, like all the foreigners are already handling all of the logistics of how goods are transported from place to place.
Yeah.
And that's all you see. And you see the trucks, you see drivers. And I'm just wondering if the American people are like, man, it's Judgment Day for real. It's the ambush, the trap, the snare has been laid. Those that previously ate our bread have now laid a wound under us. Like they're plotting on us.
I think you may have a point about that, Sarah. when you help people out, they bite you in the hand. And that's what's happening. And we're being taken over partly by our own allowance, or our own government's allowance, bringing people in who don't care about us. It's terrible.
Yeah, kind of like reaping what you sow. I know people don't like to talk about that. I don't talk from a place of victimhood, but you understand that, you know, you got to reap what you sow, and sometimes it's difficult for people to take in that reality. And so
very true.
Yeah, the American people definitely, they got something coming down the track, and if you don't kind of agree with it,
we haven't been responsible. What a mess.
Yeah, no responsible, not a good steward at all.
Yeah.
And so when you're not giving over the what the Father gives you, or you're not cutting, you know, doing what he says right, he's going to judge you. And I just don't think, I think that there's a definite disconnect between judgment and Christianity. Like, the Christians don't want to deal with judgment, matters of judgment. And it's almost like a projection how a lot of the conservative Christians are saying, hey, this and hey, this about their behaviors, but they're not understanding the big picture. Like, they can only take in little pictures at a time. But if you take in the last 1,000 years of history and say, well, okay, at this point, the Creator is looking at it and wanting you all to assess something about what you've done, it's so taboo for Western America to do that, because they're like, well, we didn't do it.
Sarah, can you call back next week or on my show in the next hour here or something? Because I want to talk with you more about what you're saying. But I got to wrap up. Good to hear from you.
All right.
Good
to hear from you. All right.
Call again.
Bye.
Bye. A quick super chat from Pretty Ricky, $, I think. The Snake Pit, laughing sideways with tears coming out. God bless you, Jesse, Bond, and brothers/sisters. We'll be out of town this Sunday, so see y'all next Sundays, God willing. Tan, black, praying, thanks, hands, emoji. And thank you guys, Rick, and the rest of the callers. I cannot get to you. The Hake Report is coming up next. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Do the silent prayer, rebuildingtheman.com/silent prayer. Take care, guys. Jesse Lee should be back next week and Sunday. Bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.
So I asked the question, are you better than a child molester? I've discovered over the 30 years of counseling, the one thing that's missing, and I think because it's not taught in the homes or talked about, we don't have examples of it, right, is love. Our theme this year is to bring back Christianity, to love God with all our heart, soul, and might, our neighbor as ourselves, and to endure. And when you're in a fallen state, people will judge the molester but think they're better than the molester. And I ask, well, why do you think you're better? When I realized it doesn't matter what you think about yourself or how much you have or don't have or how you accomplish things in life or don't. If you have no love, you have nothing.